Hello everyone, of course, I am Mark, and we just finished practice 3, and we are now in the stream for qualifying in the British Grand Prix. We had a bit of rain in that session, and otherwise we did manage to get some soft tyre running before the rain set in, though the big team, Red Bull, did not get any soft tyre runs, so we don't know their pace going into qualifying later. Alex Albon yet again managed to make himself a nuisance basically to the rest of the grid and came second fastest time at 127.5 from him. Leclerc topped the charts though at 127.4. So we're looking at the low 127s, could potentially see a 126 provided the rain doesn't affect qualifying for soft tyre runs, though I do think the rain looks set in for qualifying, so we're going to see some inter times, and the inter times look at about the 138s, 139s, so that's more or less the times we're looking at for qualifying. So what do we make of practice 3 there, Reese?
Yes, well, practice 3 was certainly interesting with those mixed conditions, just making our way through the top 10. Charles Leclerc, as you said already, P1, Albon P2, Alonso P3, looking quite good so far for the Aston Martins. Of course, we didn't get a representative time from the Red Bulls. Moving down the grid, though, P4, Pierre Gasly, Hamilton in P5, finding a bit more pace for that Mercedes team. P6, Carlos Sainz in the sister Ferrari. Logan Sargeant also finding some pace in that Williams. Max Verstappen then in P8 on that set of mediums. George Russell P9 and Yuki Tsunoda P10 with a whole big upgrade package on that AlphaTauri car. Interesting though, we didn't get to see those times being improved too much by people because of course the rain did make its way over the track, and yeah, it was good to see some wet weather running though. We do enjoy seeing the drivers running in the wet. It really does test their abilities a bit more, and yeah, we'll have to see what happens in qualifying later this session. Cody in the comment section just saying the Red Bulls look very slow. They don't. They only set their times on a set of mediums, whereas everyone else was on a set of softs. So not too bad from the Red Bulls at the moment. Of course, Red Bull set that time on a set of softs very, very early in the session, so it wasn't very representative to Charles Leclerc's fastest time, which he set a little bit later on a bit more evolved track. A little bit more rubber was laid down, so the track did evolve, and he was able to set a faster lap time. But then, as I said already, the rain did move in, and in the rain, the Red Bull certainly looked like the more dominant of the entire grid. Yet again, nothing new, Red Bull being dominant.
Exactly. And Alonso finished third for the Aston Martin team. Now, do we think Aston Martin have pace to compete this weekend? We've been worrying about them the entire weekend, but Alonso managed to put in a decent time. They're just 0.3-ish seconds, 0.38 seconds, or 0.37 seconds behind Charles Leclerc's quickest time in that session. So, I mean, do we think that Alonso will compete in qualifying and also the race tomorrow?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, he's had a good start to the season. We want to see him continuing with that momentum throughout the rest of the season. We don't want to see that Aston Martin falling back a little bit like it has in the past few races. Yeah, I certainly hope that they do still have some pace in that car. It looks like it from this session, but of course, we still don't have any times put in from the Red Bulls on a set of softs. Hopefully they do still have a few tenths in hand there, and we'll see them being able to pull that out in qualifying. Just being asked by Cody yet again, what do you think the Williams are able to do in qualifying? I mean, Albon has had quite a few good qualifying sessions the past few races. Hopefully he'll be able to keep himself in the top 5 yet again and have another great race weekend.
Yeah, and another big thing that happened in this qualifying session, well, this practice session rather, not necessarily that big a thing, but McLaren are now being investigated for an unsafe pit release, and we're just watching some analysis on why they probably will get a penalty or otherwise financial penalty, and they're going to get fined for this or something, because Lando Norris had a fan in the back of the car when he left the pit, and they had to stop him right before he got onto track. And the big thing that they're actually noting is the fact that he didn't go into the appropriate area to get out of the way in the pit lane. There's a designated spot to abandon the going out, and you can see an FIA marshal makes note of this right at the end of the pit lane. They're saying he's in the wrong area, he's too close to the pit lane exit, and then the engineer has to run across the whole pit lane to go and take that fan out before then instructing Norris to get back out onto track. So McLaren will be investigated for this, and they will be investigated right now. So that didn't go necessarily very well for McLaren right at the beginning for Norris.
No, certainly not what they'll be wanting to have right now. I mean, they'll be hoping that they'll get a monetary penalty rather than a grid drop penalty, because that would be certainly very disappointing if they do get that. We do see, though, the rain is certainly pouring down now over the circuit, so we could be getting a little bit more rain for this qualifying session this evening. Could make it very, very exciting, though. Yeah, should be quite exciting.
And at least Charles Leclerc's car, of course, was fixed for the session, and clearly well fixed. He's finished in first position. Though another car that's now gone into the breakers is Guan Yu Zhou, or Zhou Guan Yu, however which way you want to say it.
Zhou Guan Yu is how he would like to be called.
So Zhou Guan Yu, that's the one. So Zhou Guan Yu, his car was up on still pretty much the entire session. Didn't manage to get in any times the entire time. It only went around, I think, 2 laps and then had to come back in. Because the car was showing some issues, and they were working on the car the entire session and couldn't get it back out. So worries for Alfa Romeo before qualifying later. Will they be able to get that problem fixed? One hopes so. But otherwise, Bottas also finished all the way down in 18th, so not very quick times from him either. So Alfa Romeo looking very, very weak this weekend, which is a bit sad to see from Bottas and Zhou, who I quite enjoy as drivers, but yeah, Alfa Romeo not looking strong at all. Mercedes, are they primed to do relatively well later? That's another question we also have to ask.
Yes, I mean, it's been disappointing for the Alfa Romeos, unfortunately. We'd like to see them moving up the grid, but we keep saying we want to see teams moving up the grid. Someone is going to, unfortunately, have to be at the back. And at the moment, it looks like that Alfa Romeo is just going to have to stay there for now until they bring another big upgrade package. They haven't brought any major upgrades in a little while. Just looking back at my list of upgrades, did they bring a big upgrade package here this weekend? Not the biggest. I mean, AlphaTauri, of course, taking the cake on that. Alfa Romeo did bring 5 new upgrades to this race weekend. They've brought a new floor body, new floor fences, new diffuser, new rear corner, and a new rear suspension. So it could also be just the fact that they do have a whole bunch of new upgrades. So they might just be trying to get to the bottom and trying to get the best out of their new upgrade package.
Indeed. Now, just letting you know what's going to happen for the rest of this stream and for the rest of the day. We now have the F2 sprint race, which is going to take place at just 2:15. I think that is going to be happening. Yeah, 2:15 this afternoon. That is South African Standard Time and British Standard Time, 1:15. They'll start the F2 sprint. And then we will have qualifying at 3 p.m. track time. Otherwise, in South African time, that'll be 4 p.m. So just about 2 hours and 15 minutes from now, we'll have the qualifying session start. So to take you into that session, we're going to leave you with our build-up package as well as the F2 sprint times. And before you guys obviously head on into that, be sure to go and check out our partner on the channel, Bitdefender. You can see all their name around us here being advertised. So Bitdefender are sponsoring this weekend, and we're very grateful to them for that. And not only that, please be sure to smash that like button. Let's get those likes up really, really quick. We've got a whole lot of you watching right now. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Maybe consider joining the members club for some exclusive benefits. We like to have our close-knit community. We do prioritize those chats above others, and of course we prioritize the most super chats. If you guys want to send us a super chat, we'd be very, very grateful, and trust me, you'll be read out and you'll be adored by the team. And yeah, if you guys feel like you enjoy the content, be sure to let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you in a bit. From Reese and myself, Mark, we're going to start heading out just a little bit. Reese, I want you to give a prediction for qualifying just before we head out.
Okay. Shouldn't be too difficult. I think I'm going to put in the rain, Max Verstappen will take pole. Difficult for P2. I think maybe Charles Leclerc will still keep that pace going, and then maybe difficult. Fernando Alonso P3.
So you say Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso. Correct.
I'm a bit thrown between Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. Of course, both brilliant drivers in the wet, but of course, Charles Leclerc's car having a little bit more pace than both of those cars at the moment. So I think he'll take P2, maybe Fernando Alonso P3.
I'm going to predict Max Verstappen 1, Alonso P2, and Charles Leclerc 3. But I'm gonna add a 4th position, and yes, Hamilton will probably also finish in that top 4. But I'm going to say Albon as a complete outlier, just right there, 4th or 5th. I reckon he's somehow going to surprise us all.
Yes, that certainly would be a bit of an outlier to have him being so high up. I would certainly love to see Albon starting very high up. It should make it very, very interesting for us. Let's see what he is able to do, though, later this afternoon in qualifying.
Indeed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep staying on the stream. We're going to take you straight across to our F2 sprint and then the build-up after that. And keep the comments going in the comments section. Like the video. Again, just keep smashing that like button. Let's get those likes up to 100 before we even get to qualifying and otherwise. And yeah, from me and Reese, we'll check you in a bit and enjoy the rest of your afternoon until
26
All right, lads.
laps. Oh, someone released early. I saw someone release early.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
Oh no! Oh!
Yeah.
Ah, who's got it to me
You
there?
braked quite early, sorry.
I didn't brake early.
You did.
No, I did not.
It's me and you, bro.
That's nonsense.
Yeah.
I was started so well. I broke nice and late there to come in, and then I get nailed.
What does DT mean?
Drive-through penalty.
Yeah, because you released early.
And just by the way, you can't go to the pits on your drive-through penalty.
Hey, I'm not the one who released early. It's
No, I got it.
it's Matt. You released early. You're like, I'm the fucking idiot.
Oh, sorry.
Well, Reese took
Shut
me
up.
out, so
What do you
I'm
mean,
trying to
take
bring
it
up the
out?
rear here. I'll try
Yeah,
and
I had
make
to
my way
get
back.
I had to get out of the way of James, and I went like straight into the gravel.
It's fine. Maggots and Beckett's is my part of the track. Nobody does it as well as me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, as long as your head doesn't get in the way of your eyes there.
Leclerc's in my way. I can't get past him. There you go. Eventually. Ha ha ha. Now, Albon. Come here, lad. Reese nailed me.
Yes, Come
Could this guy stop doing this?
That's
Oh my
Graham,
soul.
you're
I've been
far
taken
back,
back.
eh?
Latifi is such a problem. I hate him.
You take it out.
Oh my
Yeah, I
soul.
know.
Now I'm last again. I can't even get the car straight. Yes, I
I
am.
see rain. It's starting to rain.
It's starting to rain already.
Yes.
Oh, there's two, eh?
Well, we're gonna have to go in very soon.
Oh.
New strategy available. I already got it.
Yeah. To the Inters.
Oh, that was a big break.
Oh, new strategy.
Yeah, everyone's going new strategy.
Track still feels dry enough to keep going for a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you confirm the change?
Fuck, 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 fuck. Sorry, I'm sorry, I lost control.
Changed
I
my
lost control.
strategy and I wasn't even okay.
Yeah, I was also changing my strategy and then lost control. I'm so sorry. It wasn't intentional at all.
Whoa.
No, I don't know if I've changed my strategy or not. I don't know what's
So, Graham, you're not last, mate.
That's a surprise.
Yo,
Did you
I'm
try to change the
sliding
strategy
now.
in Maggots and Beckett's?
it's very wet. I should have gone in.
Did you seriously
it's
try
a
to change the
school
strategy
week, we don't
in
know
Maggots
what.
and Beckett's? Are you mad?
I was on
What are we
the
thinking? Are we thinking full weights or what?
Are you also sliding?
Let's just put it this way. It sounds like there's a lot of chaos ahead of me, and I'm just chilling here on the Inters.
What?
You
We
can,
have to-
you can slam straight
we-
into that thing. and
We
it's
have
very
to engage the clutch to go out of.
Yeah, apparently. Who knew? I didn't know this either, because I was chilling in the pits, like, what's happening?
So I like.
Enters.
I'm glad you guys said something because you didn't know. Oh my word, that was so bad.
Are you all in the pit still?
Yeah.
Let me come out ahead of all of you. Yes! Made up time. Woo! Yeah, stuff all of you guys. Ahaha. Well, I'm right on everybody, at least.
Oh my word, guys, find us some grip here.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, bro, you gotta trust your crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna choose wet.
Trust your
Reese's-
selection.
Trust the boys.
I noticed the deliberate takeout in the beginning. Like Reese and I are challenging each other for like the championship here, and like just takes me out. It's very like Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton like, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
I think it's
It's
more.
totally on purpose.
Yeah, it's not actually that easy out here on the Inters.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
Reese is like, I'm fine.
Yeah, so put it on the car, knock it out.
Blitzed.
My engineer just tuned me to pick up the pace. What the hell?
That's cock funny. He's like, bro, what are you doing?
I bet you I just try out that one.
Oh,
I was just getting given a penalty. What for? What did I even do?
suction. App.
Oh my word, yo, you cannot take that corner fast. There is no grip. Dude, don't, like, thanks all of us.
I won't deny it. I'm taking these corners a little bit too aggressively and I'm going off the track quite a bit, hence the 3-second time penalty.
Probably.
Yeah, boy. Oh, take the corner, my mate. Ew.
Yeah, pretty much. We all started ahead of the air and now all of us behind them.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, Ryan, I know you'll be behind the AI later, so it's fine.
Preemptive.
Yeah, I'm also hearing that.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, I was actually considering they're going in for full sweats.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Reese could maybe sort of not go
Right.
too
Hey,
far
that's-
ahead. Yeah. You know, it
Brain's
was
getting worse.
enjoyable following you. I could, see your lines.
Reese, are you on full wets?
No, I'm on inches.
Okay.
Oh!
It is getting tricky though.
Dion fucked up. I'm gonna capitalize. Capitalizing.
Oh, it is.
It's definitely getting wetter.
Yeah, I think the wets might be required out here, people.
I've never seen them go for wets.
I have.
Always go for inters.
There's traffic ahead of me.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. With the
Whole train here that Young's about to join as well. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm literally, I'm just kind of chilling behind you, Oaks.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you.
I'm taking this wide.
Dion, I'm on your inside. Don't cut in on me. So lame. I was getting so much pace into Maggots and Beckers and I had to deliberately slow down because these Oaks are slow. Yes.
Who's these oaks? AI.
Dion and 2AI. Yeah. Slow pokes.
How's that feel, Dion? Being lumped in with the AI.
I mean, he's not wrong. Oh, he just went into the back of me.
Yeah,
I
he
feel
goes slowly,
like it's
slow.
getting a bit better, the
Yeah,
weather.
it's stopped a little bit.
Oh my word.
No, what is science doing to me, man? Piece of
Yeah.
shit. Did you see that?
Oi!
How did Young get ahead of you?
Because he's ramming me off the track, that's
What are you
why!
talking about?
No, mate, Young, I was watching that from behind. You literally forced the Oak off the track. This Oak's like I'm nothing there, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn
No,
left
it's,
into you.
it's, well, if that's the case, I'm very sorry.
Like Dion had no track left, and just see Young going left. I'm like,
Oaks, I had a drive-through penalty, fuck you.
And whose fault is that?
The fucking Oak who's charging that clock.
you still have a drive-through penalty.
No, I've taken it.
Took it on the first lap.
Yeah.
So how are you ahead of us? This is irritating.
Because I'm blitzproof, but you know.
Clearly.
Because he put on inters in his drive-through bin.
Problem is I can't get past
No.
Dion because he just swerves everywhere when he drives. Good problem.
I am a problem.
Oh my god. 26 laps! Oh.
Of this.
See, I'm so quick here, but Dion is not quick enough, and it's the problem. I can't take him in maggots and Beckets. It's a real problem. Like, look at how close I get out of maggots and Beckets this oak. I literally made up a second. Oak.
Just pass me, dude. What's your problem?
I'll pass you now,
Start
relax.
calling you Lewis Hamilton now.
Dude.
Yeah, how can you be Total Wolf then? Just, we know the car is bad, just drive.
Yeah. Stop the yapping. Do the driving.
Oh, Dion just made a move on Latifi. That was impressive, Dion.
Thank you.
Latifi's coming back at you though. It's on your inside. It's gonna take you. Oh, he just forced you off a little bit there. That's quite funny.
Dude, he literally came straight into me.
It's me as well.
Did anyone get a message from their pit guy? I didn't hear
Yeah,
it.
I was trying to hear it, but Marcus was talking.
Yes, like Mark was talking
you
right
just
at
said-
Yeah, good. I'm just interrupting your conversations there. It's all good.
The right way. On the right side, that's what you said.
We're on the right tires. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what you
Is,
said.
are we sure about this? Because I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, no, it's
Look.
definitely Ince's wet will overheat. Wets are for torrential rain.
I feel like this is quite torrential.
Nah, it's barely raining. Blue.
I'm feeling non-urban here.
I practiced everything on this track except overtaking, which is I think what I should have practiced because apparently that's a struggle right now.
Okay.
You went for weights and you didn't.
Didn't believe you.
Whoa, shit. Oh, pressed the wrong button there. Did you take the risky?
I thought I was catching Reese, but I'm lapping somebody. I was like,
As
woo!
you being lapped.
I think about James is, you know, he's going to take those risks, so he gives us good information.
Yeah.
Literally saw you in my wing mirror, and I was like, let me not be that guy.
Yeah, don't be
James.
that guy.
James.
Don't pit.
Yeah, it's just
It's
getting
starting to
heavier.
rain harder.
No, how did that happen?
What
Stay
did you
out
do?
on those hards.
Dude, my car just like literally went, I
Hard.
just like started drifting
I'm
into
sorry,
it.
stay out on the wets.
No, man,
They stay out on the wets.
Stay out on the wets.
this race is irritating me.
So much for it's not the range of downpour.
It has got worse.
Just started raining harder.
It's quite torrential, if you ask me. A spider would be proud.
Check the MFD for new strategy option. Mad.
I'm not selecting the strategy.
See, James, you had the James had the vision. He was just a lap
Just
early.
way too early.
Okay, gaps at the
Ah!
57.3 seconds.
Did you guys also get that? It's not ideal, but we shouldn't go onto the different tire yet.
Oh, fuck.
My guy said come
I'm
to the
already
pits.
in. I'm already in. I just smashed into the back of who am I? Yuki Tsunoda.
Well, I'm catching
Yeah.
James though. So.
My strategy change was to come into the pits. That's what my guy said. He said come into the pits. It's too wet. Imagine.
Again.
I'm Pino Williams. This is
Why are you on the Williams?
I'm Pino Williams.
I see what you mean.
He's within the Williams.
Yes.
Why
Must be
am I
told
not
it's
green?
lightening up.
Aren't green tires inches?
Yes.
So why the fuck did you put me on inches?
Maybe you selected that strategy. I just got another new strategy. Can these Oaks make up their minds, Oaks? Like,
Yeah, plus I just got another new strategy, like Oaks.
Need to slow down before hitting the corners. We don't want to get a penalty.
what happened?
Slid off.
I've just been told to stay out for another lap.
I'm trying to do this. Oh, I need to speak. It's on fucking voice activated. I'm like, what button do I? Did you pit for weights, Reese?
Not yet. I'm gonna go this lap.
Yeah, I can't.
I couldn't make up my mind, but I think it probably would have been better for me to press the lap earlier.
I want Dioris.
Mark's still staying out.
Yeah, it's really raining now. Fuck hell.
Of course, I'm
It's the big risk, Dion. It's the big risk to try and make up places.
Okay, I think it's about
My
west.
yeah, my engineer said pit for wets, and then I didn't, and then they said, oh, it looks like it's clearing up. I was like, okay.
Oh, what? They put inters back on. Oh, what? I
What a waste of a pit stop.
Oh,
I just leapfrogged everybody. Look at me in second now.
ah.
Yeah, okay, my engineer just came back and said the intermediates are starting to struggle.
Yeah, they are. I can confirm.
Yeah.
Even brand new ones.
I'm struggling to see is what I'm struggling.
Yeah, that's one.
The amount of rain on my
Box
windscreen.
the slap. Gotta have to talk to this thing.
It's quite funny. Box. Change tires,
Kinda cool,
inters.
eh?
No, inters, not mediums, inters.
What the fuck are you guys
Change
doing?
tires to wait. That hurts! Wet tires.
Wet. Soft tire. No, wet
Hey,
tire.
wait.
Now it's giving me weather report.
Okay, voice activation is not so cool. Dude,
James, it's now my
this
lap,
helicopter is still flying around in this weather. How is that even possible?
Dude, it's loving life.
I just crashed coming out the pits.
Oh, that's good.
Wild. I'm far away from.
Yeah, wait, tonight. Set car would be the one right now.
Yeah.
Can't get my lunch,
Please put the
my lunch
weights on.
opportunity. Oh no.
Yes.
Check
Okay,
the
behind the
momentum.
AI.
Strategy option.
Behind everybody.
Copy.
We'll have to do 2 pit stops.
Yeah, I just got the same thing now. Wants to change my
Let's feel-
strategy again.
Let's feel much better out here.
Oh no, fuck me. I'm having a disaster now, guys. This is really gone tits up.
Don't worry, I'm right behind you. No, I'm not. Kusno man?
On the table.
Okay. I never remember.
By the couch.
By the couch.
I think he's talking to his
Government.
girlfriend or otherwise
Yes.
government.
His government.
Okay, go
Mark,
ahead.
you've got a 3-second time penalty.
I do. We don't talk about it. Got that like in the third lap of the race.
Jan, what are you on?
Nicholas
Latifi
Latifi is
is
out
out.
of the session.
Wet, bro.
Are you on wet?
No,
Not
you.
avoid.
Are you kidding me?
I
I
just
was doing
passed the
so
pits.
well.
I just
Right,
passed the
drop your
pits.
speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Bro, and... Dude, and Matt has literally just gone into the pits to put on wet. Like,
Yep.
what a power move.
There's a
Yeah,
new
that
strategy
works.
available on the
I can't overtake the safety car because my delta's too low. It keeps saying overtake the safety car. I can't because I just crashed into the safety car. I just gave it a proper like wind up the rear. Good. It was like past the safety car, but then like my delta was saying, no, you're going way too quickly for the delta. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do?
Because the delta is so slow.
Ridiculous. Oh my god, I like literally accelerate and then the
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Come on, catch
No man,
it.
I literally just braked and it's
you
ready
take
to
a
set the-
corner
Dude.
on the racing line and it's a problem.
Dude, the delta just literally like I braked, like notice I'm decreasing speed and it
Oh,
decided
is
no,
that
no,
a
now
safety
you've gone
car?
over it.
That is a safety car parked off on the side of the track, yes.
So that means you can go past him.
Yes.
Right, cool.
This delta thing is really pissing me off.
I'm like
Yeah,
a
now
second
it's-
behind it and then you like go around a corner at
And then you're, like,
anything
way
faster
ahead.
than 80.
I know.
And now I'm 2 seconds behind it again. Yep, and now I'm 0.5 seconds.
He's like,
Gotta love
I
it.
can't with this delta thing.
I am going 120 and I'm catching the delta.
Okay, as soon as you cross the line, the delta gets.
Thank
taken
God.
away.
That was a fantastic stop. Faster
It's
than
taken
we were
away.
expecting.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have the
Literally
delta, so you
catch
just have to
safety
catch
car.
the safety car. Thank God. Let's go. Full throttle so I can get ahead of this car that's coming out of the pits. Yeah.
well, why don't you put on inters twice, then wet?
Like Ryan, yeah.
Like me, yeah.
Fast. Reduce your pace.
Or you could just be like me, change to Intus and just stays on the same tire the entire time.
Yeah, no, when you cross the finish line it goes away.
Because I won't point out what my engineer went and said, which is the fact that the rain is looking like it's going to clear up in the next 5 to 15 minutes.
You said that to me until line bastard.
I've been asking mine and they haven't said that once.
I've just been given another new strategy. Like another new strategy.
Another one.
It's really the fact that we're only halfway through this race.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've caught Reese.
I've catched.
Catched, you know. My tires are old, there's no denying it. But this is the great escape here. From 9th to 2nd.
I'm
Just switch spots.
Pit stop was a good idea.
Good evening.
Yo, this is gonna take a while, Oaks.
We're going rarely slowly.
James is just trying to overtake on the grass, you know, casual. James just leaves the track to get past us. We're like, okay, carry on.
I didn't even know James was there until I saw him overtaking the second car.
Hi. Still wants me to come into the pits this. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna risk it.
You're gonna
I reckon it's
struggle
gonna get
with
lighter.
restart.
Huh? I'm gonna be stuffed on the restart, yeah, probably.
Are you still in Inters, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're old ones too.
Wild.
Like they got 47% degradation on them. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting restart. But you know what? I've got 2 AI as my cushion, so it's fine.
Where is everyone's position-wise? Because I'm sandwiched between AIs.
I'm second. Reese is first. Sorry.
You hit me.
Yep. Just a nudge. You know what, Reese, I'm gonna do it again. You ready?
Is it rubbing or tugging?
Hey.
Woo! Okay, here we go.
Jeez, I'm still finally haven't even caught up to you. Is it?
Hey, behind Albon.
I've got to take science, eh?
Sorry. Carry on.
Okay, finally.
There's a safety car coming in.
No, they're still catching us.
I'm just busy fixing sounds.
This is a very, very risky maneuver by me, but you know what? I back myself.
Yo, I can't actually drive this. I'm letting my AI drive it. It's very annoying, I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be real struggle this, but oh well.
Can you tell me when the safety car's coming in?
It's coming in.
Oh, it's, yeah, right.
You join the queue.
I'm back.
I don't think everyone's in the queue yet.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, do you want me to hold it up a bit?
No, go.
No, go.
No.
Reese, do what you want, bro.
Here we
I'm
go.
gonna overtake you if you
Last
don't.
one's here. Oh, I'm sliding out there.
Letting out.
Two.
Oh! What the hell?
Whoa!
Who drove into me? Dude, one of the AIs drove straight into the back of me.
McLaren, maybe?
Are you kidding me?
I've been
Yeah.
lost my life. That's what happened to me early on.
Yeah, that's happened to me. Oh, now I went all the way to 10th!
I'm being overtaken by many cars.
I have no grip now for some reason.
Oops.
Probably
Pick
full
the
tires.
tires. Pick the tires, yeah. Time to warm up.
Yes, I can't believe it. I was in 5th.
Yeah, well, again, I was 2nd. Now I'm 10th.
It's like
And
they're overtaking
Tsunoda
me at a
came
rate
back.
of knots here, everybody. Oh my word, no!
Tsunoda came on the track from crashing into you and then took me out.
It was Tsunoda who drove into the back of me.
Yeah, I think so. Fucking tired of the changes I'm going to have to make.
I should have pitted.
I told you.
I've committed now, I've got to commit. Oh, there goes Young.
Fucking idiot, man. Why did that do that? Oh, Jesus, that's my race.
No, it's not quite.
Well, almost.
You've got 11 laps still, and you're right behind. Relax.
Close, yeah, you're right. So,
Plus, I'm holding everybody up, apparently. Oh, is it just me or has it stopped raining?
No.
Oh, no, there's not.
Now it's getting worse.
No. There's some parts of the track that's still raining, other parts
yeah,
not.
raining heavily.
Like this
If you
part
go
is
over
raining
the-
proper, but some parts are dry.
If you go over the curbs in the wet, does it like slide you out?
Yes. Yes.
I definitely felt.
Struggling out here on the inters here. Don't force me off, Graham. That's not how it works. Yeah, yet.
Oh, that's karma, bitch. Fuck. I thought I was pulling a really slick move there.
Yeah, you thought so, and then you stuffed it up properly. Matt tried to overtake me, and it could have out. Cheers, mate.
I think it was Graham, wasn't it? Because I just saw Graham.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. He tried to sneaky up the middle. I was like, hey, mate, I'm literally there. You can't force me off. I thought they said that rain was getting lighter.
They lied.
They really
Clearly.
lied. They lied.
Get out of the way!
Piss off. I will not concede this position. I am Fernando Alonso. You shall not get past me. No, he tried the switcheroo. Oh, you can't force me off the track.
You went into me.
How did I go into you? I'm going to back you now. I'm just going to send you spinning. Warning. That's your warning. I'm going to go straight into the back of you now.
Are you losing places here, bro?
A lot. It's a real problem. I'm still in the inters and we're losing. I was second. It's so slow.
It's time to pit, bro.
No, because I know it's getting dry soon, apparently.
Maggots and Beckets is drying up slightly.
There's hope yet. Get out the way, wet car. Yeah! Made an overtake with inters. Woo!
Just slightly.
I thought you said Maggots and Beckets was drying up.
And it was
hella wet.
Yes.
I suppose you're like 40 seconds ahead of me, so... Yeah.
Yeah, it's been time for actual rainfall since then.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about your definition of drying up.
I can't risk coming in for wets now. I've committed. I'll lose too much time. Problem is I am holding up people and also like my people just overtake me. I'm going to end up last anyway, so I should have just pitted. Could have stopped raining.
It is. It's starting to ease out.
Damn well better be. I can't do this.
It probably is. Like, we could need dries before the end of this.
Damn right we could use dries.
That means the inters are going to be useless anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Just means everybody else has to pit as well. Yes.
That's
Do
how
it.
it works. I didn't hear what he said.
New strategy. What's the new strategy? Still for the wet tire. Dion, you shall not overtake me. I will hold my position. My tires are at 70%
You're only allowed one
degradation.
move, bro.
I will hold the inside line. You will not take me into Maggots and Beckets. My freaking Braveheart here.
I can see that, yes. Take someone else in.
If I stay in the middle of the track, you can't overtake me. Ha ha ha.
Jeez, I've got signs overtaking me again.
Your tires have any grip left in them, Mark, and this might come back to you.
It is currently. I'm catching Sonoda. They don't have much grip in them, but it's enough. I'm also pulling away from Dion again.
That's because I'm driving like an idiot.
Yeah, that's still. Oh yeah, now it's suiting the inters. Come here, Sonoda.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna go in?
Yeah, take that place back from Sonoda. Piss off, you little Asian little thing. No!
Oh,
He's coming back at me. Damn it.
crash
Bloody
him.
angry
Crash
Japanese
him.
guy came at me. Come here. He is a very angry Japanese person, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, they moved him to Italy, to where the base is for AlphaTauri, to try and like calm him down and get him more used to working with the team. Clearly, that does not help.
Does nothing with him, apparently. Dude, this oak just tried to ram me off the track. That's how angry he is. I am pulling away from Dion again, though. It's quite nice. I've taken Sonoda. Ha 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 ha. Well, he's right on me. Yeah. Come on, hurry up and dry. Hurry up and dry. Hurry up and dry.
What's the time efficiency, Alex? What's the thoughts?
Are we group deciding this?
Yes.
You're not brave enough to just go for it.
No.
I'm struggling on wets.
I'm backing
Yeah,
the soft tire. I'm backing the soft tire. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah, I'm
Good
looking
now.
at the softs and trying to work out, do I hold out the wets and then try and wait for dries, or do we go with mediums?
Thinking the same thing. That's surprising.
Yeah, but you're in a horse, so you would think that. Alright, I can try and make these places back up. I see Ryan is in my scope and he's losing time to me now. Ha 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 ha.
3.8 seconds.
Yes, I must be driving like the world's worst F1 driver. Because science is
So,
catching me,
Latifi.
Tsunoda's taking away from me. Mark's on
Oh
intermediate.
shit,
taking-
I got into the
I
gravel.
have no
Badly,
grip at
by the
all.
way.
Yeah, I have no grip at all.
I've got no grip either.
Mate, nobody can compare with mine.
This feels like intense to me, eh?
Mine are literally on 80% degradation right now. I am on nothing.
My tires are on 80% heat.
You
Deal with it for a bit, unfortunately. The track is not dry enough
Drying
yet.
out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn
Nah,
out
fuck
your
this.
It's like I can't turn around these corners.
Yeah, come at you. I'm coming at you, Ryan. On my hella old tires. They will take you.
I can't even fucking take a corner. So I'm not surprised.
This is how I felt earlier. Now you know what it feels like when everyone's just overtaking me and you're just like, I can't do anything about this.
Oh, just take the corner properly. Ah!
It's really the fact that James has got a 3-second time penalty and is a minute behind me.
Whoa!
That's so
That's
hectic.
so stupid. Yeah.
Folks, I can't corner anymore. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, hang on. Oh,
So we do Klapper. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
What are you going in Pentas?
Yeah.
I think Pentas it is.
Yes, dude, I cannot corner anymore.
Yeah.
Understood. Copy that.
So I'm catching Young and Albon ahead of me very, very quickly here.
Yeah, I'll go use another one off the way. Oh god.
Yeah. Is it dry enough?
Dum da da dum da da dum 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 da da dum dum dum.
How's
What's
this
this lap?
fucking go? What the fuck?
Oh my word, Young
Oh
just
my
got
God.
absolutely wasted by Albon.
Whoa!
Literally, I was,
Hey, she got just softs.
I was fifth and now I'm fucking... I was third actually now.
We got.
So annoyed at that.
Dude, just Hoya back pass there.
got the oldest tires known to mankind on, but I'm making it work.
What? That was
Okay.
rubbish. That
Okay,
was
you
rubbish.
You just better be quick, Pop. You just better be quick.
Oh, that's so much better. Fuck.
Oh god, yeah, you're right. Oh,
What have you gone out onto?
enters.
Unlike James on his softs.
Good. So clearly with me at my 3-second time penalty, I'm firmly in 4th right now.
Actually racing. This rain screwed me up so bad.
Yuki screwed me up so bad. Yeah, I feel that, dude. The wits just have nothing at the moment.
You should start getting more comfortable now, James. Should be dry enough.
You can't afford not to go off the line on softs right now.
No, if I have to change to slicks, you're gone. If we're catching the AI. Ooh. Watch out.
Well, it's certainly been an interesting race in terms of strategies and things.
Just doing what everyone else does.
Tracks officially dry. First sector's dry enough for slicks.
What's over there?
Oh, now they want me on softs.
You should go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
No, I should probably, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Just take that pit stop.
Actually, there's 2 laps left, so we're really going to change tires.
Yeah, markers.
Yeah, 100%.
He's not.
Helps to be a minute ahead, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can do what Verstappen did.
Oh my word. The tires are on 90%. I mean, on 90 degrees Celsius. That's a problem. Fuck, it's dry. Oh my
My
word.
tires on 95% degradation.
DRS
Wow.
has been enabled. Are you kidding me? In the last 2 laps. Oh, and I'm running out of grip. Are you kidding?
Reese, did you go off?
Yes.
I'm right on your tail and you're on wets. Oh yeah, let's go. I'm on old tires, you're on wets. Let's see who can win. Oh no, flip, the tires are losing, they're losing their grip. No!
No, they are. I had a tank slapper earlier.
I'm losing grip to my tires because they've just got nothing left in them. Leclerc and Gasly are gaining on me now. No! Can I take it to the end of this race?
Okay, commentator.
Dude, quite genuinely, at this point in time, it's quite freaking difficult. The tires are gone. The tires are gone. It's like not Lando Norris. It's broken. It's broken. I'd fought my way back up into second, and now the tires are giving up on me. No, can't have it.
Well, don't worry, he's going to finish way ahead of me.
Issues with the tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of it.
Oh, DRS, you lifesaver. You can get away from Gasly. Oh no, Gasly, piss off. Piss.
Oh no, I thought that was the last lap.
Come
It's
on.
fine, Reese. You cannot afford to lose to me on these tires. I've got no grip.
Can your tires pop?
If they can, they probably will. Stay tuned. Yeah. Reese and Leclerc are not far away. They're only 2 seconds ahead of me. And Reese has lost the place to Leclerc. Leclerc is winning this Grand Prix out of nowhere.
I have no grip on
James
the
taking
tires.
fastest
I don't have
lap.
grip on mine either, so we'll challenge it to the end. We'll see who's got less grip as we get to the final stages here. Maggots and Beckett's left, and then the final couple of corners. Can Reese and I make it in terms of not crashing? It's coming down to this. Oh my word, I've gone so wide.
Who's behind me here?
Yeah, James pulling out fastest laps all of a sudden.
That was his strategy.
No!
Yes! 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 Come on!
Fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
I'm so confused as to who's behind
No!
Mark.
No, I've fixed you back on. Just gonna cut some grass here, just mowing the lawn, you know. Damn it! I could have taken you. Why did you cut in on me though? I was definitely halfway alongside you.
Charles Leclerc won the race.
Oh, damn it. I could have taken Reese. The replay shows literally in the second to last corner, third to last corner. Oh. Fuck. Wouldn't have mattered though because like I had a 3-second time penalty, so.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Forever Motorsports on Forever Sports for the Forever F1 podcast. All the Forevers in that opening title there. We're joined by Reese and, of course, myself, Mark, here to talk about news from the past week and also reminiscing over the weekend we just had in Austria and looking forward to Silverstone. The talk, of course, with those track limits was an unbelievable thing for all the penalties that were given out over the weekend and yesterday, as well as Mercedes being a big talk and their rather horrid weekend and what could potentially be another horrid weekend this weekend. Some infighting perhaps at Mercedes, otherwise replacement drivers for rookie drivers, all these other things, teasers for cars and otherwise. So lots of news to get into. And Reese, how are you doing? How do you feel over the weekend that just took place?
Yes, I'm doing well, thanks, and yourself, Mark. But yes, that race weekend was just dominant yet again from the Red Bulls. Just Max in another league to all of the other drivers. It was good to see some close racing though between the Ferraris and the sister Red Bull, at least for a few laps in the race, but Max just making it look too easy out there.
Yeah, so just going back over, we have got a review, of course, you can go check that out, but Max Verstappen won, Charles Leclerc came second, Sergio Perez up from 15th, finished in third, Lando Norris probably the one of the standout drivers of the day, finishing in fourth, and that's a result of all these penalties that came after the race. I mean, unbelievable the number of penalties that were given out afterwards. Carlos Sainz, one of those few drivers that was severely punished for his track limits, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really was not a good look from Formula One. We don't want to see the race result being changed hours after the race. We really do need to make some changes to this track to limit these kind of penalties from happening, because it shouldn't be happening. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, so as a result, Fernando Alonso moved into 5th position as well, so he got some more points there for the Aston Martin team. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton still finished 7th and 8th. Carlos Sainz then pushed all the way down into 6th position. Lance Stroll finished in 9th, Pierre Gasly 10, Alex Albon 11, Guan Yu Zhou 12, Logan Sargeant 13, Esteban Ocon, also one of those who received a few penalties after the race, finishing in 14th. Valtteri Bottas 15, Oscar Piastri 16, Nick de Vries in 17th, Kevin Magnussen 18, Yuki Tsunoda 19, also with those penalties during the race, though, to be fair, and Nico Hülkenberg, who obviously didn't finish the race. So, I mean, they basically said straight away after they gave all those penalties, FIA said, that they're going to look for a solution for this track. I mean, why did it take them yesterday to make that decision? When we knew last year it was a problem, we knew that track limits has always been a problem at this track, and it's always the same two corners. It's turn 9 and turn 10, right before the start-finish straight. Why is it that it took so long for them to say, oh, okay, now we're going to try and create a solution for this?
I mean, I really don't know. I think it's because the FIA has been changing hands quite a few times in the past few years. It takes time under new management, of course, with Mohammed bin Sulayem, I think his name is at the moment. They are making some good changes, but it does take time. Hopefully they do make a change before next year, before we come back to this track, because we don't want to see this happening again.
It's the fact that, I mean, yes, it adds a little bit of drama, I suppose. Don't get me wrong. It adds a little bit of drama, but all
the biggest joke was giving Hülkenberg. The biggest joke was giving Nico Hülkenberg a black and white flag.
I know.
When his car was retiring, he got given a black and white flag for being all four wheels over the white line. I mean, that is just hilarious.
I know. It sums
his
up
car
the
was
FIA.
pretty much on fire.
I know. It
and
sums
he's
it up.
getting...
So we finished that, with all those track times, and that's certainly something they're going to look forward to changing next season with regards to Austrian track in Spielberg. But Mercedes, I mean, we talk about some of the drama that happened yesterday. We had Toto Wolff on the radio, not just once, but twice. He's not normally on the radio in races, and he spoke to Lewis Hamilton directly over the radio twice. Once when Lewis Hamilton was just complaining yet again about this car not performing, and this car's so slow, man, and all this. And Wolff came onto the radio and said, Lewis, the car is bad, we know, just please drive it. I mean, it's like very firm, very straight to the point, as in like basically saying, stop complaining, get over yourself, and race the damn race. We'll talk about it afterwards. So like very much, I think heated conversations probably had in Mercedes right now. It was not a good day for them yesterday at all. And even Lewis Hamilton, after the race, he was asked in an interview, said, what happened with regards to what possibly provoked Toto Wolff to deliver that remark. And Hamilton's response was also not so sweet. He says, I don't know. He said, you will have to ask him. So clearly at the time, it wasn't all 100% in that Mercedes team. I mean, Toto Wolff played down the comments, and that's what this article says. He's playing down the impact of his remarks that he made over the radio. And he says, no, not at all, with regards to whether or not he has severed a relationship a little bit with Lewis. He says, no, not at all. You should hear us talking on the phone and meetings each other. That was nothing. We've had a bad weekend, all of us in the team, and that just makes us stronger. Not quite sure why. It was only for the best interest of the driver and the team. Sometimes there was a certain moment when you need to calm things down, but I meant well. We had a lot of discussion about track limits and whether they were enforced or not. I wanted to make sure we were getting the best out of the package that wasn't performing and trying to give it our best shot. So basically, as we said during the stream, Toto Wolff came onto the radio just to get Lewis back into the mind space of racing, to stop thinking about all those track limits and, get your head down, get to the end of the race. We'll fix it afterwards, basically.
Yes, I mean, I think it shouldn't have too much of an effect on the relationship between Toto Wolff and Hamilton, for sure. I mean, we've heard much worse in the past between them. Some people, I'm sure, will try and make a story of it at the moment with them in contract negotiations, but yeah, it should be fun within that Mercedes garage.
So yeah, I mean, I've got another article with regards to Mercedes, because it just was, unfortunately, the Mercedes problem of the day. I mean, Lewis Hamilton started quite high up the grid, and George Russell started in 11th. Not the best, but we were expecting them to motor up the grid relatively quickly in terms of George Russell, at least. It just wasn't the case. They finished 7th and 8th, respectively, and really not good enough, I think, for Mercedes. We thought they'd made a change and they'd turned a corner for the season in Canada, and then came to Austria, and it just didn't work at all. And Toto Wolff, as I say, calls it a bruising day. So certainly a bit of a step backwards after announcing major upgrades for this weekend, and then Silverstone, which is coming now. So, I mean, should Mercedes be concerned?
I mean, you would think they would have data for a more high downforce track from when they ran, but clearly they weren't ready for a circuit like Austria, where other teams already have data from the year before. They are still, you have to remember, on the back foot from switching to their B-Spec car. So it may take them some time to really dominate at every race, but we are still seeing those glimmers of hope in, I think, high-speed circuits.
Yeah, and also we were looking at the grid generally and found that maybe it was to do with their engines and high altitude, or because all the Mercedes engines seem to not perform as well as they have been in very recent times, at least in the last couple of races. Aston Martin also weren't fantastic over the weekend. The only Mercedes engine that seemed to work somewhat was Lando Norris. But then again, they weren't really fighting anybody else, because the Ferrari engines and the Red Bull engines were well ahead of everybody else. The only reason Sainz finished behind Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso, of course, were those time penalties afterwards. But otherwise, the Ferrari engines and the Red Bull Honda engines were they seem to be working better than those Mercedes engines. Do you think it was due to altitude that they maybe struggled?
I mean, you can never really know, because I think you'll only know if you are in that Mercedes garage. But we've seen in the past how Mercedes have struggled at altitude, so it's always possible. But yeah, it may just be because they were still struggling to get to grips with their new upgrades.
I mean, and in response to an interviewee and his questions, Wolff went and told Sky Sports, he said, the car had no pace today. It's a bruising day, I would say, because we had such a good upward trend, and you have to take such a day. There was no pace and no inkling why yet. So that was also interesting to note from Toto Wolff. He doesn't actually seem to have a potential reason. And Russell also says the Mercedes was substantially worse than expected. And when he was speaking to some people from Sky Sports, he said, didn't expect to be as bad as we were today. I didn't really have an answer for it, really. It was definitely surprising. Sorry, this was Hamilton that was speaking here, and says the feeling of the car was very much the same feeling I've had all last year. It was definitely different than the last two races. The last two races were way, way better in terms of the characteristics of the car. It was fundamentally the same, this race being Austria, as last year when Mercedes were, of course, so terrible. So a few surprises out there. Where Lando and McLaren did a really great job, so well done to them. We need to understand what went wrong on our side, and this is Lewis Hamilton speaking, of course. So, I mean, yeah, they just seem very dejected.
I think they will be after having a few race weekends where they have done quite well. I mean, Spain, and not necessarily doing too bad in Monaco, but seeing a little bit of a glimmer of hope with the B-Spec car. But then really just being disappointed, I think, here in Austria. Hopefully they'll find their feet again in Silverstone, because, I mean, it is their home Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and speaking of days that would basically wanted to be forgotten about, I mean, we also go and look at the likes of Nick de Vries. Now, Nick de Vries is very much a big talking point, and the fact that we are coming towards silly season. Is pretty much silly season. We're starting to head into the potential changes in drivers should they not be performing. And one of those big names is Nick de Vries, who we expected so much this season in that AlphaTauri, and yet has really struggled to deliver and has barely delivered at all. And in an article here from Planet F1, it goes and says Nick de Vries' F1 career ultimatum reportedly set as a replacement is lined up. So Ted Kravitz has, however, heard rumors that suggest that Christian Horner actually does intend on replacing Nick de Vries, even after he came out and said there are no plans to currently replace him. And the likes of Liam Lawson, of course, being talked about, one of the reserve drivers for Red Bull. So Ted Kravitz went and said this. He says, Nick de Vries, he really is driving to survive. All the bosses will say this. Will say about this. The rumor that has come out about Dutch press that Nick has been told that he's got the next 4 races on circuit. He knows here, this was Austria, Silverstone, Hungary, and Spa to really transform his season. Otherwise, he's out. They're going to put Liam Lawson in. That's the rumor that's coming from the Dutch press. So, I mean, there's always a little bit of flame from a little kindle of a story. There's always something that's sparked it. So there's always a hint of truth somewhere that must have created the story. So, I mean, do you think there's any truth to this?
I mean, Red Bull are so cutthroat. We've seen in the past how they've just chop and changed drivers in the main team, never mind the sister teams. So, yeah, I think it may be very true. Sometimes when we hear stories like this in Formula One, people just write it off. But when there's smoke, there's fire. So, yeah.
And interesting here is Franz Tost was asked directly about this in the pen, and he said it is up to Nick to make the story go away. So he didn't really immediately go and say, there's no truth to the story whatsoever, we Nick's backed or whatever, but said, it's up to Nick to make the story go away. In other words, it's up to his performances. So maybe it is indeed that he's been given a few races to perform, or otherwise he's going to get given the axe. And so it's certainly dangerous times for Nick de Vries in that AlphaTauri, because Liam Lawson, of course, is standing in the wings, ready to take over. And, I mean, I just find it so surprising how Nick de Vries has been so good until he got into F1.
It is really interesting because, I mean, he's won in Formula E, done really well in the junior formulas, and just can't find his feet in Formula One at the moment. I think there's a lot of pressure on him after... I think he did really well in that race where he stood in, was it for a Williams last year in Monza? I think it was.
He stood in for someone who was sick. Yeah,
I think it was Albon when he had appendicitis. Yes.
Yeah.
And he did so well, but he's really struggling in the in the AlphaTauri team. So it's, I don't understand why.
Yeah, it's a very big mystery, and we'll see what happens over the next few weeks, and of course we'll bring that news to you as it comes, should anything happen with regards to drivers. Another driver who we've said all season is very much under the cosh, that of Logan Sargeant. He actually did all right yesterday, coming in 13th, so maybe a little bit of a fight back for his own place in that Williams team. So, I mean, do you think he's done enough just to sort of calm the rumours down a little bit for now, or do you think Logan Sargeant is still very much in that danger zone of being replaced?
He's done really well at this track in the past, apparently. So maybe it is a little bit of a show of what he can do in that car. Not finishing too far off of Alex Albon.
Yeah. So Logan Sargeant, one of those drivers who's obviously being dubbed possible replacement coming up for him. AlphaTauri's Nick de Vries, the other one. The other rookie that we haven't talked about is Oscar Piastri. Now, he didn't have a good race at all yesterday. Finishing far down the grid, whereas his teammate Lando Norris finished in 4th position. So, I mean, we've said that Piastri seems to have done enough to solidify his place, and that he probably does deserve a seat in Formula One. But would you almost say that he still really needs to work at it, considering the fact that his teammate is doing so much more than him?
Well, you can't really compare the two at the moment, with Lando Norris's car having substantially more upgrades in his car. His turn will come in Silverstone, though. I think he didn't have a great weekend altogether here. Didn't he have a bit of a scrappy start, and then he was brought in as well quite early for a pit stop, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, not a good race weekend for Oscar Piastri, but as I say, he hopes to maybe fix that this weekend in Silverstone. Nobody's really going for the axe for Piastri, so he's safe for now, but certainly needs to get a move on to try and catch his teammate Lando Norris. Now, in other news completely, before we go on to a couple of spoilers and other things that Reese has got for us, Max Verstappen has talked about the 2026 plans and the car plans for 2026, and he's described them as pretty terrible, which is a little bit of a concern. This is based on what he's heard from his engineers. So, just reading here, I want to find. I just want to find Max Verstappen's response to the whole thing. Oof, my word! There's so much writing, and I seem to have lost it. But I mean, they're basically just talking about the 2026 cars, hoping that they will improve. But it basically seems to suggest that the upgrades and all of the changes that are being made to the car are going to make it very awkward to drive, is what he said. I would prefer to control it myself. He says, they've got these active aerodynamics, which you can't control, and the system will control it for you. So it's becoming very, very system orientated rather than the driver itself. He says, of course, when you're behind someone, maybe you need more front and more rear, these kind of things. But if the system starts to control that for you, I don't think that's the right way forward. Plus, weight is going up again. So yeah, we'll have to seriously look at this because, 2026 is not that far away. And at the moment, to me, it looks very bad from all the numbers and from what I see the data already. So it's not something I'm very excited about at the moment. So, for us F1 fans, who most of us are looking forward to 2026, seeing brand new car changes, hopefully it's going to provide for a much more compact grid and more competition. Do you think this is a concern?
I think it certainly is. Max, interestingly enough, looks like he gets quite interested behind the scenes and chats to his engineers about where the sport is going. I think it also helps him decide whether he's still interested in staying in the sport or not. But it definitely tells us as fans that we should be a bit worried with the rules and the regulations not necessarily pointing in the correct direction for good racing.
Yeah. And Reese, you've got information about this weekend coming in Silverstone, which we are all very, very excited about after it was teased on Twitter. So tell us more about that.
Yes, well, I have a article from crash.net just saying McLaren have teased the return of their iconic chrome livery ahead of this weekend's British Grand Prix. Certainly very exciting for me, as that livery is just such an iconic look for McLaren. And we remember Lewis Hamilton being so dominant in those coloured cars back in the past. And McLaren have gone and done this by changing their logo on their Twitter page to a McLaren logo, but it's all in chrome. And also releasing a video of Lando Norris peeking through a door, looking very excited about something. They don't necessarily show what it is, but we assume that it is their car for this British Grand Prix.
Obviously, it's the British Grand Prix, McLaren, a British racing team. And, Lewis Hamilton brought so much success to Britain with that chrome, that beautiful, beautiful McLaren car, that chrome and red livery. And was, as a couple of people I know have talked about it as being like one of the most iconic F1 cars that's ever been, and that ever has been made and ever been raced around. So if McLaren do indeed, and we're fairly certain they are going to come out with that special chrome livery, it's going to be so special to watch, and I just hope they can back it up with a good performance as well.
Yes, well, just a little bit more about this. McLaren last ran a chrome or silver livery at the start of 2015 before moving back to their black livery that they ran for a few years. They then ditched the papaya. Well, they ditched black for papaya in 2017 and haven't changed it since. But also a reason for them possibly going to a chrome color this weekend is because they have a sponsor, Google Chrome, and they've also teased the chrome colors with Google, hashtag Google and hashtag Chrome on their Twitter.
Yeah, so I suppose having Google Chrome as your sponsor is really going to help for that sort of special livery to giving out the Chrome livery. So that is very, very cool. And I think we're going to start wrapping up the podcast here. So Reese, do you have any final news for us?
Yes, just a little bit about this next race. We have a new wheel arch being trialed in the British Grand Prix, and this arch is to reduce spray on the cars in wet weather races. We don't necessarily know how this is going to be implemented in Formula One. You can't necessarily fit the car if it's already dry out on track and then it changes to wet. You can't necessarily fit it mid-race, I wouldn't think. So I wonder if it's only going to be seen in wet races or going to be a permanent fixture on the cars.
Yeah, and of course, that's quite ironic that it's come out at a rather terrible time. Of course, over the weekend, we did see in Spa a horrible, horrible incident there. And yeah, I mean, it's. Is it almost in poor taste that they release it now, or do you think it's a good thing that they go and announce these plans now to release essentially stuff that should minimize spray for these sort of conditions to avoid such crashes happening?
Well, I mean, it is a good time always to release things that could help racing and could help the safety of racing as well. I mean, Max Verstappen has said in an article as well, we should be cautious to blame Spa, the actual circuit, for the crash and for the death. I mean, we haven't really seen many crashes in that area where he crashed. He didn't crash at the exact same place that Antoine Hubert tragically lost his life. I think it was 4 years ago now. It was also down that main straight, but not in the same manner that it happened for Antoine Hubert. Yes, it was because it was extremely wet. But yeah, unfortunately, these things do happen in motorsport, and we do need to move to make these junior formulas even more safe.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely terrible news over there at Spa over the weekend. But hopefully, as I said, Formula One announcing these. Sorry, what do they call it again? The exact terminology?
I've just closed the article. They lack wheel guards or mud guards on the back of the rear wheels to reduce spray.
Yeah, so hopefully the introduction of that should minimize those sort of incidents from happening in the future. So it's a good thing that it probably was announced, and we do hopefully see a great benefit in them in the future, and they will be tested out here at Silverstone. And guys, don't be scared to go and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications for all future uploads. We will, of course, be doing a preview on Thursday for this weekend's Silverstone Grand Prix. We're very much looking forward to it and all that could happen there. So I won't talk too much about it today, because, of course, we'll preview it on Thursday. Otherwise, Reese, any final word before we head on out?
No, just hoping we'll get some good racing in Silverstone. It's been a good track for racing in the past, so hopefully it should be a exciting race weekend ahead of us.
Indeed. Guys, thank you so much for watching Forever Motorsports. I've been Mark, Reese has been Reese. Again, subscribe to the channel. Really, we're going to aim for 30,000 by this weekend. Anyway, see you all then. Cheerio. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Motorsports on Forever Sports for the British Grand Prix preview. I'm joined by Reese and we're going to look forward to what's happening this weekend in Silverstone as we get to one of the most famous and most anticipated tracks on the F1 calendar, of course the British Grand Prix. Reese, we're going into this weekend, of course Max Verstappen yet another win last weekend in Austria, and Ferrari and were dealt a bit of a bad hand with regards to Sainz getting time penalties, but otherwise seemed to do all right, but weren't quite as quick as the Red Bulls. We saw Aston Martin struggle a little bit, Mercedes coming up as well, but not really doing very well either. So it was a bit of a harsh Grand Prix for most, but otherwise, what could we expect as we get to the British Grand Prix?
Yes, well, it certainly was a difficult Grand Prix for the majority of the grid, especially with all of those time penalties added at the end due to track limits. Hopefully we will not be getting a repeat of that this weekend. We'll have to wait and see whether drivers are just going to be as strict as possible on those track limits as to not get any more penalties like they had last weekend. But yeah, I think Ferrari certainly will be wanting to keep the momentum going through to this race weekend in Silverstone. Mercedes will be wanting to pick up the pace a little bit, especially at their home Grand Prix. They'll be wanting to get on the podium here. McLaren seem to have some good pace as well. We'll be seeing Oscar Piastri getting that set of upgrades now that Norris got in Austria. So hopefully those two will also be able to compete for the podium places.
Yeah, and of course, British Grand Prix here, we've got some stats about it. It is one of the most highly anticipated, and I do laugh because Sky Sports goes and says, why Silverstone's the best Grand Prix in the calendar? I'm saying, of course it's the best one for you guys, you're British. So, Yes, but it is, to be fair, one of the most anticipated and one of the most enjoyable races and one of the most watched races in the calendar every year. That is the British Grand Prix. Largely also because the time zones are very good for most people to watch, as well as it is right in the home of where most F1 races come from and where some incredible races and teams all come from. Of course, this has been dubbed a home Grand Prix for quite a few of the cars, lots of them based in Britain as well. So, it's going to be a very, very cool Grand Prix. I've just got some stats here about it. So, it's been held 77 times and was first held in 1926. That's the British Grand Prix. Most wins, Reese, come on, take a guess.
Ayrton Senna.
No. So, teams.
Oh, sorry, teams. Mercedes.
Yeah. No, of course
Ferrari?
not. Ferrari, yes. Ferrari seem to have the most wins at almost every racetrack as a result of them being in F1 for so many years. They've got 18 wins at this racetrack. It's quite a few. Most wins, though, goes to home driver Lewis Hamilton. He's had 8 wins here in Silverstone. Now, hopefully you can try and attempt to get his 9th this weekend. It's going to be damn difficult for him, but he's definitely going to try it out. Laps, there will be 52 laps. The race length is 306 kilometers. It's a long track. It's a bit of a longer track than most. It's 5.8 kilometers, so almost 6 kilometers in length.
Yes, interestingly enough, the Silverstone Grand Prix is the 5th longest track on the Formula One calendar at 5.8 kilometers. As you said, Spa-Francorchamps is 7 kilometers, Jeddah is 6.1, Las Vegas is 6.12, and Baku is 6 kilometers on the dot. So 5th longest track on the Formula One calendar.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a longer track, and we also went and did that. We do a gaming stream, and we go and race around in anticipation of the weekend that comes. And you do just feel there's a lot more turns, of course, you have to think about for drivers, and it's far more difficult in terms of making sure they get the perfect lap. So I think qualifying could be very interesting. Not only that, it's obviously in Britain. Summertime Britain, which means that we are likely to probably have a bit of rain, maybe, or otherwise it's Britain, as I say. So rain is always a possibility. So that could
be the third weekend in a row with rain.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're going to wait and see. So it's looking like it's going to be a great weekend of racing. And do you think this could potentially be the first weekend without Red Bull on top?
Well, I mean, I've got some stats for Red Bull this weekend. Max Verstappen is set to make his 150th race start this weekend, so he'll be wanting to have quite a good weekend off of that. As well as, though, for Red Bull, they are, of course, doing so well. And I think I did see a stat here. I might have just lost it. No, here it is, yeah. If both Red Bull drivers secure a podium result at Silverstone, it would mark the team's 250th podium in Formula One, which means they've become only the 5th team to do so after Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, and Mercedes. So Red Bull will be wanting to have a good weekend here. I think Max Verstappen certainly has the pace to do it. He's been so strong the entire year. So strong, in fact, in Austria that he was able to make a free pit stop and just get the fastest lap for fun, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is Red Bull are so dominant this season so far. So it could be a very historic weekend for the Red Bull outfit. Max Verstappen, his 150th race start, and Red Bull potentially in their 250th podium in Formula One. So a big weekend in store for Red Bull if they can pull it off. But of course, this is the home circuit of Mercedes, Toto Wolff's team. They know this track very well. Lewis Hamilton knows this track exceptionally well. It's a home Grand Prix for both their drivers. So both drivers are British, so it's the only team with 2 British drivers. So it's going to certainly be the entire crowd will pretty much be rooting for that Mercedes team. I was going to say the Silver Arrows, but the Black Arrows, I suppose you can call them now. So do you think they stand a chance? They're bringing a lot of upgrades, supposedly, as Toto Wolff says, and also it is a much lower altitude racetrack, which means that hopefully the engines should be fine as well. So can they compete with Red Bull?
Well, I think Hamilton will certainly be hoping for a good weekend off the back of Austria, where he was just so frustrated with track limits, as well as the car just not performing how he wanted it to. He didn't have a great practice session, didn't have a great sprint race either, and then qualifying was, again, dismal. I mean, Hamilton has always started in the top 6 at Silverstone and finished within the top 3. So, I mean, ever since the hybrid era with Mercedes. So I think he'll be wanting to keep that record going, but whether he can, it will be quite difficult.
Yeah, so Lewis Hamilton at home, can he go and compete with those Red Bulls? He doesn't only compete with those Red Bulls, though. He does have to compete with the likes of Ferrari, who seem to be making a bit of a turn in their season. I grant, not as quick as they'd like, and I think a couple of small things still keep hindering their chances. But Charles Leclerc, very comfortable second place in the weekend. And Carlos Sainz did finish further up, but in fourth position. But then obviously penalties took him down into sixth, which is a bit harsh, but nonetheless, it's ultimately what happened. So they had a decent weekend there, and they had a very good weekend in Canada after starting 11th and 10th, finishing 4th and 5th. So they're moving in the right direction. So they finished 4th and 5th. They're now finished 2nd and 6th. Would have been 2nd and 4th. Could they potentially challenge Red Bull?
I think off the back of Austria, they seem to be quite confident in not only high-speed circuits, but also in circuits with a little bit more downforce that is needed. So I think this track is a mixture of both, so it could certainly suit them quite nicely. Charles Leclerc will be wanting to do well. He's very confident around this track. In the past 5 races that he's done here, he's finished in the top 4. So, I mean, I think he really does enjoy the circuit and does quite well around here.
And also another team that seems to be dropping off a bit in terms of where everyone's basically been watching and hoping they'll do well is Aston Martin. I mean, what are they going to look like this weekend?
Well, they've been better at higher speed tracks, so hopefully they will have a bit more pace around here. I think they've also got a big upgrade package coming, if I'm not mistaken. I know they did bring a big one to, it wasn't Spain, Canada it was. So hopefully they can bring a few more bits of upgrades to this circuit and just get a little bit closer, because they have fallen off the pace a bit.
I mean, Fernando Alonso is normally a quick qualifier, and he's a quick qualifying driver, and yet he's struggled to get anywhere near the top 4 positions in the last couple of Grand Prix. I mean, it's a circuit he knows well, of course. He's been in Formula 1 many years. I mean, what are Aston Martin's chances? I mean, if we just had to predict where they'll finish up, because we know Mercedes are bringing upgrades, we know Ferrari are improving, it's Red Bull, of course. Where's Aston Martin fitting into this picture?
Well, to be very realistic, Aston Martin is, of course, mostly held on the shoulders of Fernando Alonso, so he would be our most likely podium sitter for Aston Martin. And Alonso hasn't stood on the podium here since 2013, so it's a bit of a tall order for him to get on the podium here, but if anyone's going to make it happen, it is Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, and of course, another British team. I mean, we talk about Aston Martin. It is a British team, essentially. It's the British car company, of course. Mercedes are based in Britain. Alpine are based in Britain. Red Bull is run by a British man, been Christian Horner. And we've got McLaren. Now, we talk about McLaren. It's also a British brand and things. So lots of British influence here in the British Grand Prix. The orange, I say the orange McLaren. It's brought a special livery for the weekend, a chrome. It's disappointing considering what we thought it would hopefully be, but they're bringing a.
It's not too bad, I don't
know. But they're bringing the special livery, the chrome and orange livery, for this weekend. I mean, they did very well in terms of Lando Norris, at least last weekend. Do you think they could be like the dark horses of the weekend? McLaren seems to have turned a corner in terms of their pace. Their pace has ridiculously changed.
Yes, I mean, at the beginning of the season, they were nowhere, and now they're qualifying really well and getting consistent points finishes. So hopefully they'll be able to fight for the podium a bit here. I mean, we saw Lando finishing in P4 with those driver penalties at the end of Austria. But on pure pace, it looks like that he is able to match the Ferraris very soon.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is McLaren seem to have found race pace, which is the big thing that they've been struggling for as well. So it's a really cool Grand Prix hopefully going into this, because it could be anybody's race. Of course, Red Bull are still firm favourites, but not by as much of a gap as they have been throughout the season, I think.
Yes, it's definitely fallen from what it's used to be. They've become a lot more competitive. I mean, if we look at... you're still talking about McLaren, correct, Mark?
Well, just generally, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have picked up the pace a lot from the beginning of the season to now. I mean, they were finishing pretty much 19th and 20th at the first 3 or 4 races, and now Lando's doing really well.
Yeah, so I was just saying, more like all the teams. It's going to be quite a competitive Grand Prix with regards to Red Bull. Still firm favourites, but all the other teams, they're much closer to Red Bull now. So, I mean, how much could Red Bull win by, or is it going to be a slam dunk?
I think it's still going to be a slam dunk, unfortunately, Mark. I mean, Red Bull, you say that the other teams are getting closer, but Max was 24 seconds ahead of Leclerc in Austria, and that was, if I'm not mistaken, there was a safety car, wasn't there?
Yeah, just right at the beginning of the race, though. Right at the beginning, second lap.
Then it would have been maybe a 30-second gap.
No, I think it might have added an extra second. But anyway, it's absolutely fine. Red Bull's still a very strong outfit, of course. But let's hope and let's see if anybody else can sort of get anywhere near Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. Of course, they're still competing with Sergio Perez, though. But we'll see what happens this weekend. Now, in other news, Brad Pitt is putting together a movie, an F1-inspired movie called Apex. Everybody's very much looking forward to it. And they've revealed the car ahead of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Yeah, I mean, it looks incredible if you guys go and have a look on social media. Otherwise, I mean, how excited are you about this film?
I mean, it's certainly going to be quite exciting to have some filming taking place on a race weekend. It's something we've never seen before. I'm sure the film will be very good. I think Lewis Hamilton is a co-director of the film, so he'll be making sure that it does stay true to what motorsports is. So it should be very interesting. I mean, we've seen other movies in the past, like Rush, based on Niki Lauda and James Hunt. That was a brilliant film, but there were just a few little inconsistencies to real life. Hopefully, with Lewis Hamilton being involved, it should stay a lot more true, because I think it is slightly based off of his life story.
Yeah. And I mean, we move swiftly on, but yeah, Lewis Hamilton is a co-producer in that film, and he wants to do the sport proud, and he's nervous of what people might think of it, but he wants to try and keep it as true to F1 as possible. So we all look forward to that as it comes, hopefully in the future. And yeah, very much looking forward to that. And as I say, go and have a look at that car. It looks very, very good for what they're trying to do. And
gold and black, it certainly looks very, very great.
Yes. And now we go on to the F1 calendar has been announced for 2024. And there are going to be 24 races in 2024. The Chinese Grand Prix has returned, and every other race in this weekend and this season's calendar remains. So we've got 24 races, but it's quite a bit of a different schedule. We see the Japanese and Chinese Grand Prix come right near the beginning of the season rather than near the end, as they always have been. So, I mean, have you seen the schedule? I mean, what do you make of the schedule?
I have seen the schedule, and I understand now. I have done a little bit more digging into why they have set up the schedule in the way that they have. It's mostly for logistics. So we start in Bahrain, then we go across to Saudi Arabia, then down to Australia, and then, Australia. And then I think while we're in Australia, the stuff from Saudi Arabia and Bahrain is getting sent across to Japan, which is the next race after Australia. Then we go to China. Quick logistics move from Japan to China, at least. Then all the Australia stuff would have been sent across to Miami in America. So then the teams will fly out to Miami for race 6. Then by then, the stuff in China gets sent across to Emilia-Romagna in Italy. As you can tell already, it's extremely, extremely crazy logistics that get involved in Formula One. So from Emilia-Romagna, Italy, we go across to Monaco, then Canada. So, of course, all the stuff that was in Miami gets sent across to Canada, which is why we jump in continents quite often, because you need to give the logistics time to move from race to race. I mean, we can keep going across the rest of that calendar, but I think you get the gist of it now.
I mean, the problem is that with that entire logic with regards to logistics is that it's not really logistical, is it, though? Because if you think about it, we're going Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, then you're having to send stuff to another country completely in advance, and you can't take everything with you. Whereas if you'd start a Grand Prix basically going across the world, you know, in a manner that just basically aligns as it goes across, wouldn't that be a bit easier?
The whole reason they're doing it is to try and reduce carbon emissions, so they prefer to send stuff before time instead of moving things back and forth the whole time.
But wouldn't really necessarily be moving back and forth if you started, for example, in Japan, then went to China, then went to Australia, then went up to Singapore, and then went, if they just went across the whole world like that.
You say that, but you have to understand sometimes not everything is sent by air. Some of the stuff is sent in advance via shipping containers. A lot of the stuff for the paddocks, all of that, like the wheel guns and all of that stuff gets sent a lot more ahead of time. So that stuff takes a lot of time, especially to races like to Australia and to the Americas, Qatar. I mean, it is a bit of a logistical nightmare, which is why they have partners like DHL.
Yeah. So the F1 calendar, 24 races in 2024. It's going to be hellishly busy, and all of the Grand Prix are very, very close to each other. There's barely a break at all. The first break we only see in August next year for 3 weekends, and then we immediately return. So it's not exactly like it's...
it goes all the way to I think it's the 8th of December is the final race in Abu Dhabi. It really does go right to the end of the year.
Yeah, so
it starts in March and ends in December.
February, technically, because the 29th of Feb is the Friday. So
sorry,
it
I
starts
didn't see that.
in February and goes all the way to the 8th of December. So a very, very long calendar in F1. So we're very much looking forward to that as F1
We say
fans.
It starts at the 28th of Feb. Don't forget we have pre-season testing as well.
Exactly. So lots and lots of Formula 1 action coming to us in 2024. But we are still in the 2023 season. And just a little piece of news as well with regards to one of your favourite drivers, the fact that Mick Schumacher has completed his maiden McLaren F1 test in Portimao. Now, the former Haas driver Mick Schumacher has conducted a test with the McLaren Formula 1 team in Portimao as part of his 2023 reserve driver role. Schumacher took the wheel of McLaren's 2021 MCL 35M car on Wednesday as part of F1's so-called TPC rules, which allow tests with 2-year-old machinery. The test is part of Mercedes' arrangement of sharing its test and reserve drivers with McLaren, which takes customer engines from the German manufacturer. In previous years, it had agreed a deal with Mercedes to call upon Stoffel van Doorn and Nick de Vries in case it needed to replace one of its race drivers. For the 2023 season, that deal was extended, with incoming reserve driver Schumacher being made available if either Lando Norris or rookie Oscar Piastri is unable to race. So he went and completed the Portimao test and got up to speed with how the McLaren works, having not worked with the working team before. So he's getting around the block now. He's tested himself in the Mercedes car. He's now gone and tested the McLaren. So certainly still staying within Formula 1.
Yes, certainly still being very, very active within Formula 1. Often we see him on the grid, sitting behind Toto Wolff, looking over his shoulder during a race as well. But even when we don't see him, he is still extremely, extremely active in the Mercedes simulator, doing a lot of work for that Mercedes team to be able to fast-track upgrades and do setups for race weekends. So his job is extremely, extremely important, even if us, the public, don't see him.
Yeah, so Mick Schumacher getting some good practice, I suppose, in the McLaren. So he's ready for any possible thing that should happen to either Mercedes team or the McLaren team. Reserve driver for both teams, of course. And we're about wrapping things up for the preview this weekend in Silverstone. Very much looking forward to it. Reece, do you have any final comments here going into the weekend?
No, just the fact that Max Verstappen is doubling down on his Formula 1 2026 rules criticism. Pretty much just saying get rid of hybrid engines. That's certainly a bit of an interesting development from Verstappen, who has spoken out against the 2026 regulations following his victory last weekend at the Austrian Grand Prix, declaring that the new cars look pretty terrible from what he has seen in Red Bull's simulations.
Yes, indeed. And we did go over that a bit on Monday. So go and check that video out as well. We went into more depth about what Verstappen was making out of those 2026 cars. And Toto Wolff has, however, since come out and said that it's absolute nonsense, and that he reckons the 2026 cars will be fantastic for overtaking and will do the jobs as necessary. So we've got the head of Mercedes versus Max Verstappen's opinions with regards to 2026 cars. The only way we'll tell is in 2026. So
I was going to say the exact same thing. How about we all just keep quiet and see what happens in 2026, then we can make decisions.
Exactly. We've still got 3 years left, and the current model car. So let's just actually
Exactly.
enjoy the present right now. Anyway, guys, that wraps up our preview for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Let us know in the comments your predictions for who's going to finish in the top 3. And I'm going to ask Reese just before the end of the video as well for his top 3. But otherwise, leave a comment down below, like the video, and do be sure to subscribe to the channel. So, Reese, your top 3. Go.
I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to say Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton.
Okay, I was going to do
I think Hamilton gets on the podium this weekend.
I was going to do the exact same prediction. So,
well, no, you can't. Change it up.
So I'm going to change it ever so slightly. And you know what? I'm just going to throw a spanner in the works and somehow Red Bull mess up this weekend. It's not going to happen. But I'm just going to do it for the sake of it. Let's put Hamilton first, just for old time's sake. That'll
win
be
in 2 years.
Yeah, that'll be a big thing, and at Silverstone, so that'll be a big thing. Hamilton first, Max Verstappen second, or maybe Max Verstappen crashes out. No, he won't. Hamilton first, Verstappen second, Leclerc third. Those are my predictions. And again, let us know in the comments, and also join us this weekend for all of the live watch-alongs and commentary through every single session. We'll start, of course, tomorrow with practice 1. F3 and F2, of course, also happening this weekend, so we'll be running those as part of the build-up to each session. Thank you guys so much for watching Forever Motorsports. I've been Mark, Reese has been Reese, and we'll check you again later. Cheerio. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Motorsports on Forever Sports for today's guide on how to watch the British Grand Prix. Silverstone this weekend, very interesting to see. Can anybody... Our stream that we're giving out on this OBS versus that OBS, that's why I said ours. Okay, so our stream is doing quite well so far, almost 5,000 views before we've even started. 200 viewers pretty much right now. So, doing relatively okay.
I'm not impressed about practice 3.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but basic stats were on. As long as we could just nail this. And unfortunately, a lot of it doesn't come down to us. We're jumping up viewers quite nicely right now, and then we'll be perfectly primed for us to take over with about 6 to 7 minutes before we start. So
cool.
5 minutes left.
Only 180 people watching, not
I've
200.
got 207 right now on mine.
Mine says 143.
Yeah, now it's dropping down a little bit. That's because Steven's come on.
Then we shouldn't run this before we go live. Run this early in the program.
Promise you, it's absolutely alright. It's absolutely alright. It's jumping straight back again.
We're on stream, huh?
Oh no. Are we? Are we indeed? Oh, we are indeed. Hello. I think we are indeed. No, sorry about that. I think we are. Are we on? I think we might be. Shouldn't be, but I think we are. Which is all right. If
yes,
we are,
well,
to apologise about that.
Forever Motorsports on Forever Sports for the ramp up to qualifying today. It should be quite an exciting session ahead of us. We don't necessarily know if there is going to be rain or not. It is looking a bit overcast overhead, but no rain currently falling over on the track. Hopefully it will stay dry through Q1, but then maybe it would be quite cool to get a bit of rain in Q2 and Q3. Could just throw a bit of a spanner in the works, could make things a little bit more exciting for people out there.
Absolutely no idea how we suddenly came live straight in the middle of Steve's little video, but nonetheless we are live, so welcome everybody. I just see Pure Blood there saying, yes, you are live, with a rather funny face, and I do agree that was rather hilarious. I don't think we've ever made a mistake like that in all of our months of doing this and all of our Grand Prix of doing that. I don't think we've ever made that. I don't know how that happened because I genuinely didn't press start streaming.
Might have been an OBS issue, but
yeah. So
otherwise,
do apologise about that. We are live. So yes, sorry about that. We are all good though. We are here. We are ready, and we are 6 minutes away from qualifying 1. And welcome everybody to the stream, wherever you are joining us from. Let us know. And I see a few of our regulars are making their way back to the stream. So welcome to all of you. It's dry right now on the track in Silverstone, so that's a good thing.
Very dry out there. I mean, it might be a good thing. Some people might be a bit disappointed that we don't have rain for this session. I certainly was hoping for a little bit of rain. Minentle just asking if it's raining. No, it's currently looking a bit dry out on track. The track might still be a little bit damp, but conditions at the moment don't seem to have rain falling over the track right now. Whether we will have rain falling a little bit later in the session, that is to be seen. I do agree with Pure Blood. Everyone like the stream. Let's get it to 100 likes. Right now we have 200 people watching. We just need half of you to hit that like button to get to 100 likes. I do see though that we are getting quite close to 29,000 subscribers, so please do hit that subscribe button. I will be saying that quite a few times this race weekend, because we do have a goal of getting to 30,000 subscribers this weekend. I think also it has jumped up a little bit due to our rugby stream that is also running at the moment. So if you are wanting to follow what is happening with the Springboks, please do jump across to that rugby stream that will start, I think, at 5 o'clock, Mark.
Yeah, it starts at 5 o'clock our time, so we'll start in an hour and 5 minutes time, around about. So if you are a rugby fan, be sure to stick around on the channel and go watch Steve on his stream. But otherwise, we are bringing you the more important thing, that is Formula 1 qualifying. And we do have the opening titles running right now, so we're very close to the qualifying session, and notably it is dry right now. So let us know in the comments, who do you think is going to be eliminated? Because I can give you a fairly accurate, I reckon, representation of who will be eliminated in Quali 1. My prediction is going to be, I was going to say both Alfa Romeos, both AlphaTauris, and Kevin Magnussen. That's my. I'm
actually doubtful that Yuki Tsunoda will get ejected from Quali 1. He had a little bit of pace at the end of Quali 2, so possibly he will be able to, get out of that first Quali session. We'll have to see. We are now getting those opening titles underway. And just some information about this track. We are currently in Silverstone in the UK. Our track distance is 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles for you Americans out there. The full throttle around this track is 66%. Top speed is 332.6 kilometers an hour, 206 miles an hour, 18 turns with only an elevation of 11.3 kilometers. Ramping up quite fast now, 3 minutes to get going for the session. Our compounds for the session are C3, C2, and a C1 tire. That is around about the medium compounds that we have. It goes from C5 to C0 this year for all of our tire compounds. Should be quite fast times, but we do see those harder compounds being put in because of the high degradation we get around the circuit.
Indeed, and the weather conditions say that it's raining. In fact, I think it's only raining on certain parts of the track. We are on board
it's
with
very light rain.
Yeah, I mean, none of the crowd has got any umbrellas or overcoats on, and they seem to be all right. So I think most of the track is dry, but I think there's maybe just a few spatters of rain somewhere around the track. So it's saying it's raining, but I think we're actually all right for soft tires, or slick tires at least. So it's certainly gearing up to be a very interesting qualifying session, with the weather clearly going to play a part.
Yes, I certainly think the weather will come and change a little bit in the middle of the sector, possibly just to keep the teams on their toes. I mean, I don't mind it happening because it does make the session just a little bit more interesting for us.
Indeed, and comments, lots of them starting to come in. A lot of people joining us here and saying, welcome back, guys.
I am just doing some research for one of those comments. Someone asking me, what is happening with Lewis Hamilton's contract? We haven't heard too much of it, well, too much about it just yet, as we do have a long line of cars in the pit lane. Those of the two Mercedes as well. Just at the very front, we've got George Russell, followed by Lewis Hamilton. Then I think a Alfa Romeo, and we have now cut across to Lewis Hamilton's car cam. So we are just waiting for that green light to get going. 2 minutes left.
And DRS is disabled. Sorry, I just noticed that.
Means DRS is disabled. FIA are thinking that the track is just a little bit too wet at the moment for DRS to be enabled. We often get DRS getting disabled when the track is still slightly damp. This is down to the fact that it is just a bit unsafe for drivers to be going around corners at the end of DRS zones with the DRS wing open in damp conditions. We do have a mix of tires out on track at the moment. We have a few drivers out on softs, some with some with intermediates on as well. 1 minute and 7 seconds.
So it's going to be a very, very interesting start to this qualifying session. Just 1 minute to go until then. Please keep it coming in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, and say hello to us. And just before we get going, of course, I'm going to do my obligatory and my usual, as some people will get used to now. I am an ambassador for Bitdefender these days. But yes, Bitdefender are sponsoring this weekend's British Grand Prix watch along on the channel, so big thanks to them. So Bitdefender Total Security detects when you play, work, or watch a movie, so it knows not to bother you with unnecessary requests. Depending on what you are doing, Bitdefender temporarily halts pop-ups, adjusts visual settings, and pauses unimportant background activities so you can enjoy your device to the max. If you want to learn more about Bitdefender's Total Security, then please click on the link in the description. And also go check the description for how you can watch this live right now with all the stream completely legally. We've got an instructions video there. And otherwise, go check out the channel for that as well. And yeah, tire changes galore right now, so nobody has any idea what tires they want.
10 seconds left to go until we get running. We did see Alex Albon getting ready to go out on a set of intermediates. Then the team just changing their minds at the last second, now putting on a set of slicks. We have both Aston Martins also just stuck in their pit boxes at the moment because they have a long queue waiting ahead of them. As we do now get the green flag for Quali 1. We have 18 minutes of running for Quali 1. Still a little bit damp out there. A lot of people on soft tires, a few on intermediates. Who will get the upper hand in this first stage of qualifying?
Just 17.5 minutes remaining of the session. Both Mercs leading us out. And I already see that Lewis Hamilton's allowed an Alfa Romeo to get past him. So we've got a different set of tires on all these cars, so I wonder which one will be the right tire choice. I think the softs are right for now, but whether that will be continuing throughout the session is going to be the next question. Obviously, some parts of the track are a little bit wetter than others, so it's going to be a very, very interesting see. As we do see a South African flag in
the crowd there. I actually
yes.
do have a friend that is watching in Silverstone this weekend, so I'm sure he will be enjoying his time out there. Has been some great running so far out on track, as we do have Lewis Hamilton letting that Alfa Romeo in front of him, just not wanting to compromise his warm-up. We do see a little bit of a spray coming off the back of his car as he comes through Chapel, that high-speed corner where himself and Max Verstappen collided a few years ago in 2021. We currently have, on intermediate tires, we currently have those tire graphics up in front of us. We have Leclerc on inters, Sainz on inters, Sargeant on inters, Magnussen on intermediates, as well as Nico Hulkenberg. Those are the only drivers on intermediates. The rest of the grid all out on softs.
Yeah, so I think the soft tire will be the right tire for now. It doesn't look like they're going to be diving into the pits anytime soon.
I mean,
Mercedes.
Leclerc has already come onto the radio and saying, I think it's fine to go out on dry tires. So they'll pretty much be coming straight back into the pits and putting a set of dries on for him, as we have Lewis Hamilton just getting ready to start his first hot lap. 700 of you watching alongside with us. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is going to be quite an exciting qualifying session ahead of us.
Indeed.
We don't know if we will get some rain, but let's hope we will. Lewis Hamilton now starting his first hot lap, making his way through turns 1, 2, and now 3. Let's see what he can do in this first sector. And I think they are aiming for around a 28-second first sector here.
Yeah, I think 28 seconds will be about right. Everybody who's on the stream right now, go smash that like button. It helps us, of course. Let's try and be the biggest English stream today for qualifying. So be sure to try and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell everybody else to go and watch it. If you guys leave the stream, it's only to go and tell other people to come and join it. Go into other people's stream and say, you know what, come to Forever Sports. It's a vibe here. Everyone's enjoying life here. So be sure to stick around as we're very fast approaching 800 viewers as well. So we're already going there. Hamilton's first sector has already been beaten by Norris, which has then been beaten by Alonso.
I was about to say that.
It's
people
just
stealing that fastest first sector time, trading hands quite a few times there. We do see Brendan Muller with a new Forever Sports membership. Thank you very much for that membership. I don't know if you're on our stream or if you are on the rugby stream, but either way, well done, and thank you very much for joining the Forever Sports Members Club. For those of you who also want to fix...
No, it's there. It's there. Don't worry. It's fixed. It's coming now. Don't worry. It is fixed. So carry on. Oh my word! Big spin by Lewis Hamilton. He's in the gravel.
Hit barriers. No, he just keeps himself out of the barriers there as he goes into the gravel. But that will be a absolute terrible start to Lewis Hamilton's qualifying session. Yes, those will be absolutely destroyed. He will come straight into the pits, I would assume.
Oh dear, Hamilton.
He doesn't. He stays out on track.
Does it? Got to? Hey, that's bizarre. Alonso now hit
Norris
traffic.
To finish up his lap. Let's see what Lando Norris can
Alonso
do.
hit traffic, so had to give up on his lap. I think that was due to Hamilton's yellow flag.
I think so. I think people backing up because of Hamilton. Lando Norris puts in a 137.6 as Alonso comes across the line with a 136.7. Stroll goes second. Just watching a replay here of Lewis Hamilton's spin. He comes through that long
yeah, I think it just
DRS
hits a
straight
small
and then just gets a big snap of overspeed. I think, yeah,
I think it just hits damp patch there and just sort of loses a little bit. Just seeing Does he come off that line ever so slightly? Yeah, there's like a
He
tiny...
may have just ever so slightly touched the white line there. That may have been that issue.
Indeed. So Lewis Hamilton at his home race has decided to go into the gravel ever so slightly. So not good from Lewis Hamilton. But we'll see if anybody else. Max Verstappen now crosses the line at 133.5. So these are much slower times than we've seen earlier. So yeah, very fast approaching 1,000 viewers. So keep it coming, guys. Keep liking the stream. We've almost done 100 likes already. 91 likes. Just keep liking. Just keep liking.
Very, very close to 100 likes. As you say, Carlos Sainz now coming to finish up his lap. Let's see what he is able to do. Charles Leclerc also on a hot lap, 0.1 seconds down on Verstappen's time at the moment. One viewer away from 1,000. As I said that, we do hit 1,000 viewers. Thank you very much for tuning into our stream. Sargeant saying it is starting to rain. Max Verstappen with the fastest first sector. These lap times could be very, very important as to who gets out of Q1 and who doesn't. If you're able to set a fast time in the dry, you may just get yourself a very good banker lap in for when the rain eventually possibly does come down here. Alonso goes fastest with a 1:31.4, the fastest lap time of the day. Stroll goes second with a 1:32.9. Still a little bit of a gap there, but we do see possibly this track drying out a little bit. Sainz getting a little bit deep there into that long DRS straight, that braking zone, as Sainz does back off on his fast lap. Max Verstappen going a personal best in the middle sector, but not taking any more purple sectors there. Let's see what he can do through this final sector now.
Charles Leclerc crosses the line quite slow in comparison to Max Verstappen's time at the moment, but he finishes 1:33.3. Max Verstappen now coming into the final parts, and he goes only second fastest, a whole second behind Fernando Alonso pretty much. So Fernando Alonso firmly in the lead with 11.5 minutes-ish to go.
Yes, Max Verstappen not having as good of a lap as Fernando Alonso. Apparently lap times have started to be deleted, so we will have to keep a close eye on that. As we do see now, our timing board is working again. Thank you for spotting that, everyone in the comments. It is now working. Please do keep a close eye on these times, because we do see a lot of drivers putting in some fast times at the moment. Zhou Guanyu, currently our driver at risk. Hamilton, all the way at the bottom of the time boards at the moment. I do believe that is because of that spin that he did have. He is on another hot lap at the moment, up in his first sector. Adrian asking, have Mercedes fitted Hamilton's new car stereo? He was asking for a stereo in one of the other races, because on their team radio, while they're not talking, there's just static. No, as far as I know, they are not playing music for him this race weekend. Sainz just having a little bit of a twitch there in that entry to that braking zone, now coming towards the last few corners on the track. Adrian asking what lap we're on. We're not on any laps. We're currently in quali 1 out of 3. So ramping up to be quite an exciting qualifying session. Leclerc moves himself up into P2.
Indeed, and now looking at the times, Alonso's still sitting very firmly in first place, and he's not being in danger of that. As I said, the Russell's now got a purple sector in Sector 1. Let's see how he fares in Sector 2. He's a little bit slower than Alonso, though, in Sector 2. So he's lost time. So Alonso's still looking very, very good for his money in first place. Albon now coming around. Let's see how he fares. He's been doing so well all season, all weekend. He's coming around the final couple of corners here. Looks like it's going to be a little bit slow, though, only into 10th position.
It looks like we have some rain possibly predicted for the next 5 minutes. Apparently only meant to rain for about 5 minutes, but then hopefully we'll get it clearing up a little bit again. Pureblood just saying his predictions here, saying Leclerc and Max was his prediction. My prediction is also Max Verstappen P1, Charles Leclerc P2, and then possibly Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton P3, depending who's able to hook their car up a little bit better.
Hamilton approaching the last sector. Now, of course, he did have that spin earlier and currently sits 11th in the grid in this first qualifying session. Sorry, I don't mean to keep saying as Alonso pushes himself back into first, and Hamilton has to make a big correction. Had a little bit of a slide there. He's going to lose time, and he might go over only in a 131-ish, indeed a 132.0, so just into third position behind his teammate George Russell. But Alonso has improved upon his lap at 130.7, a great lap for Alonso again. So clearly Alonso is doing the business right now in that Aston Martin is now Stroll crosses the line. He moves into third position at 131.56. The two Red Bulls clearly needing to get back out there. Perez sitting in 19th position, Piastri in 20th as well, so not looking good. But Piastri now comes across in 4th position. Max Verstappen has now taken a purple first sector as well. So yeah, we're really ramping up, and it's 8 minutes left to go in this session.
Just waiting to see what Alex Albon can do for himself at the moment. He's currently down on 17th, not where we expect him to be. Max Verstappen, though, 0.2 up on the fastest lap time at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what he does now through this final sector. Making his way through the final 3 corners is Sergio Perez, though. We'll have to see what he can do. He's currently personal best in his first 2 sectors. Now, coming across the line, where does he put himself? He moves himself up into only 12th. Not great from Sergio Perez on that lap time. Max Verstappen coming through the last sector now and across the line puts himself first with a 1 minute 30.7, only 0.011 up on Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, talk about margin, 0.01 seconds behind Verstappen. That was Alonso's time. So Alonso still looking very good in that Aston Martin, and they finally seem to have found a bit of pace this weekend. I've been worrying about them, but currently sitting in 2nd and 4th, looking very good for their money. Quite a bit quicker than most of the cars in the grid at the moment. But as we know, the track is going to evolve very quickly with more rubber on track. And Sainz has to make, oh my word, so many corrections here from, I think this is Sainz, yes? Yeah.
Yes, it is Sainz. He had a big snap of oversteer.
And he's given up on the lap. Yeah.
Yeah, exiting turn 16. He had a big snap of oversteer, unfortunately. And it looks like he is still fighting that lap. He moves himself up now to 8th position. Sergio Perez, once again, so far off the pace, down in P13 at the moment. Really close to being the driver at risk.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a concern there for Sergio Perez. So, you know, he doesn't want to do the same thing as last week and have to fight up from 15th position and then get all the way up into the top spots. So he needs to really get going. It's only 6.5 minutes left the session. Still a lot of time, but these times are ever changing, and he does need to get a good lap in case the rain should start to affect it. Albon now coming across. He's currently sitting in 19th, but he's been good all weekend. He was slow in the first sector, but he was up in the second sector.
Big snap of oversteer there.
Yeah, you can just see it's getting,
Alex Albon.
It's clearly a lot of drivers losing it in that, was that 3rd to last corner or 4th to last corner? So
4th to last corner, yeah. Yes. I think it's just a little bit damp there still. We do see a few spots of rain falling on the camera. That is along the start-finish straight. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to rain even harder. Russell saying on the radio, yeah, it's raining everywhere at the moment.
Which is not good for Sergio Perez.
Certainly not, because as I was about to say, those who got a good banker lap in are pretty much safe right now. If you didn't, you're going to be in a lot of risk because you're going to have to try and get out on track. It also means that you're going to have to run in the wet again and possibly run off track if you aren't careful. It looks like Albon might have just ever so slightly touch that white line on entry. The white line in the wet can be quite slippery. We've seen in the past how drivers have spun their cars because of touching the white line. We see now how Nico Hülkenberg tries to avoid it, but he also has that big snap of oversteer there. Apparently David is noting there's a big crosswind in that corner, which would explain why the drivers are having so much oversteer there.
Yeah, so Logan Sargeant also struggling.
Oh my word! Logan
yeah.
Sargeant just ramping that car. He will have caused quite a bit of floor damage from that, I'm sure.
And he's 17th on the grid right now, and likely would have probably had to come into the pits as a result of that, and it's not going to be good. Watching now a replay of Oscar Piastri coming into the pits. It's an unsafe release by, I think it's AlphaTauri,
yes,
big unsafe release. And we're almost going into somebody's pit box. That's a big penalty.
Nick de Vries will have at least 5-place or 3-place grid penalty coming his way for that. That was very unsafe, releasing him right into the way of Oscar Piastri. He actually had to go into the cables of the Red Bull pits. Luckily, there was no Red Bull engineers out there. Otherwise, that could have been very dangerous.
Indeed. So, not good from AlphaTauri. They've been rather poor all weekend, and it just continues. Perez now on his fast lap. He's down in the second sector, though. His first sector is up. It does look like he's given up his lap attempt. He has indeed given up his lap attempt. So, race control has decided track limits at turn 15 for Alex Albon. So, his race time will be deleted, and he moves back into 20th position. So, not looking good for Alex Albon. Who's been good all weekend, but now sits stone dead last in his qualifying session with just 4 minutes to go.
Yes, I mean, this Rain is certainly coming in very, very soon. I think this is Perez coming to pit in at the moment. I'm trying to see the number and the helmet, but the mechanics are just in the way there at the moment. I didn't see who that was. I think it might have been Perez. Yes, it was Perez. He's been put on a new set of softs. This is his last chance to get out of the session because he is right next to that dropout zone. He really, really has to get a good lap time in here. Yellow flag in sector 3. Yellow flag in sector 3. We don't know.
See the rain is definitely falling now. Sorry, just want to say the rain is definitely falling.
That's
so this is going to.
Kevin Magnussen stopped on track.
That's going to be a red flag.
That very likely could be a red flag. He is completely stopped on the racing line there as well, I may add. So that is certainly quite dangerous. Magnussen just on the radio now. Just saying everything's switched off. Red flag is now being waved for this session. So with 3 minutes left to go, clock has been stopped, but we do have that red flag. This could be absolutely dismal for Sergio Perez if someone is able to put in a faster lap than him in those last 3 minutes.
I think actually this might be a small lifesaver, in fact, for Sergio Perez, because now nobody's going to be able to get a quicker lap, and we see the rain is starting to head and it's starting to rain. I think the track will be more difficult to race. So Sergio Perez, by the skin of his teeth, probably does make it into Q2. So very, very lucky there.
Skin of their teeth, Lewis Hamilton was able to get in a good lap to put himself into 5th. He was very lucky to get a banker lap in there because when he had that spin, it was all looking a little bit tricky for Hamilton out on track.
Indeed. And all the people in the comments, welcome to the stream. And yes, we have noted that subscriber mode is turned on, which means that if you want to comment down below, you have to hit that subscribe button. Who wouldn't want to hit that subscribe button? So do be sure to go subscribe and then chat with us, ask us some questions, let us know where you're watching from. And yeah, of course, red flag in the session right now, so we do have a stop. You can see all the drivers currently in the safe zone. Those who are not safe, Albon, Bottas, Sargeant, Show, and Magnussen. They're the ones being eliminated at the moment. Magnussen, of course, causing the red flag. All systems on his car decided to stop.
Watch the replay of that. It's very, very odd. I mean, the car just through that final long corner just completely dies. I haven't seen something happen like that before. It's very, very odd, as I say.
Indeed, as James makes a comment in the comment section there, so should be able to get one flying lap in before the end of the session. But, of course, rain is definitely affecting the session. So will that one lap be quick enough to get out of the elimination zone? Could those in the elimination zone get ahead of Perez? Could Perez be in danger? Norris as well, after having a couple of good weekends, sits only in 13th position in Q1, so he's also not necessarily safe.
I think their car is certainly more set up for the dry running, so it could be better set up for the race tomorrow. But Piastri having a great little lap there in the beginning of this quali session. I mean, he's put himself up into P9. That might be his best qualifying lap so far. Sergio Perez already waiting at the end of the pits. He is certainly not going to be one to get caught out here. He can't afford to be caught out again. I mean, how many race weekends does he have to have a bad qualifying session here? I mean, he's just really not had any good luck.
No, not at all. Max Verstappen, though, certainly not phased too much right now. Sits very firmly in first position. Alonso just behind him. Alonso also should probably be safe. Very, very safe. He doesn't probably need to get back out onto the track. Leclerc and Sainz probably also relatively safe there. And keep it coming in the comments, everybody. Would love to know your thoughts about the session so far. And otherwise, hit that subscribe button, like the video. Let's keep liking the video. Let's get all those likes on the video right now. And we do see Alex Albon is already leaving the pits, getting ready to go for the next session. Of course, he's right at the bottom there, so he wants to try and get a lap in as quickly as possible. Do you have 1,500 viewers? So welcome to all of you on the stream. Let's keep it going. Keep inviting your dog, your fish, your cat, I don't care what. You know, just invite them to the stream.
You can watch on multiple devices as well if you really want. Just have your laptop, your phone, your iPad, your mom's phone, your Apple Watch. Whatever you can, just turn it on at the moment. But a few people asking why the session has been stopped at the moment. We have a red flag for Kevin Magnussen's car, which is stopped out on track. That should hopefully be recovered quite quickly as it is close to the pit entry. We do have it being lifted up onto a truck now, so that should hopefully be, well, the session should be resumed quite shortly.
Basically, his car, just to confirm, just basically all the systems just decided to switch off. All the modes decided to switch off.
It's completely died. It might be an electrical fault. Second Ferrari ICE electrical faults this weekend.
Indeed.
Could be a little bit concerning for the Ferraris.
Yeah, and if you guys want to avoid similar sorts of things with unnecessary changes in modes, be sure to go and check out Bitdefender, because Bitdefender's
Ooh.
total security detects when you play, work, or watch a movie, so it knows not to bother you with unnecessary requests. Depending on what you are doing, Bitdefender temporarily halts pop-ups, adjusts visual settings, and pauses unimportant background activities so you can enjoy your device to the max, or slash your Formula 1 car, because that's apparently what he needs. There's Magnussen. If you want to learn more about Bitdefender's total security, please click on the link in the description and in the chat.
Esteban Ocon nearly collected an Alfa Romeo there. That was so dangerous through Maggots and Beckett's. He noted it on the radio to his engineers. And I mean, I agree with him. That was absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure that Alfa Romeo will be getting a penalty for that because he was on the racing line there. They should know better than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely poor. I mean, I just find it amazing that we still have these issues in Formula 1 where unsafe releases and driving on the racing line and not getting out of the way. I mean, surely they would learn after a little while to be wary of everything, and surely they'd improve through the season. I mean, it just doesn't seem to happen half the time.
Yes, just being asked by you guests to change the graphics. I don't necessarily know what you're asking for. We are wanting to have these graphics so we can show you who's out on track, which is no one at the moment, except for Kevin Magnussen's car. Charles Leclerc currently sitting in the pits. The red flag, we don't know when the session will be resumed. We'll find out once they have recovered that car of Kevin Magnussen's. We should see, hopefully, that happening in the next few minutes, because the car was pretty much already recovered.
Well, there's an interesting discussion point from ND or ND. Is Ocon a better driver than Gasly? And Clayton, welcome, you're joining us from Jamaica. Let's go back to the conversation. Ocon and Gasly, who's better?
Ocon is certainly getting more pace out of that car. It's Gasly's first season in the car, so that's to be understood. Ocon, of course, understands that car a lot better than Gasly does. But Gasly has had quite a few great races this season already. I mean, yeah, I think Gasly is on par with Ocon. I don't necessarily think either of them are better than the other. We'll have to wait and see till Gasly is a little bit more comfortable in that car where he can put it compared to his teammate.
And I see we're very close to 200 likes on the stream. So all of you watching right now, we've got so many people watching versus the likes. Go and just hit that like button. It literally takes 5 seconds of time. Go hit that like button. Let's get 200 likes. Let's push the stream. Let's try and get bigger, everybody. Let's have some more discussion. Subscribe to the channel. Ask us some questions. Let's keep going. This red flag still there. 3.5 minutes, well, 3 minutes and 11 seconds left of the session when they should resume it. And now we see that car has been recovered. It's off the track. So we should get going very, very shortly. And I'm sure we're going to get told by the stewards what time the session will resume.
Some people just asking, will Albon get one more chance to get into Quali 2? Yes, he should. There is 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining once this red flag does get greenlit again. Albon is already sitting at the end of the pit lane, so I'm sure he will be able to get another banker lap in there. We do see a lot of cars already lined up. We don't even have a time yet for when the session will be resumed, but we have a lot of drivers all waiting to get out there.
It's going to be very interesting. I think Fernando Alonso is going to have to play a team game here because the Aston Martins have left late. But of course, their position in the grid is right near the end of the pit lane. So I think they're going to try and squeeze in between the line here. And I think Fernando Alonso is going to squeeze in to then allow Lance Stroll to get out ahead of him. So sneaky from Aston Martin, but I suppose it would work. Race Control has said that we'll resume Q1 at 15:25 local time.
Oh, so that's a broken wing. Max Verstappen's wing is broken. What happened here? Max Verstappen has broken his wing.
I'll say this is a good point. What on earth has happened in the pit lane here?
He drove into the wall, apparently. Luckily, they can change that very quickly, but often when they leave there, yes, you can see, as he was leaving his pits, he managed to hit the wall. It happens often because their cars are just so wide nowadays. It's so difficult to leave these pit boxes.
I'm sorry.
Especially when it's wet. This is something we've never seen before.
That is hilarious. I'm sorry. It is funny because think about it. This is the best driver on the grid, easily first in the Drivers' Championship. What's happened to Max Verstappen? They say he's had a crash in the pits. Oh, he's driven into the wall. Oh dear.
And that's not a cheap crash.
No.
Because a front wing.
Snapped it.
I mean, what do you all think in the comment section? Let me know what you think a front wing costs. I'll let you know in a few minutes. Let's just say it's not cheap.
I cannot believe he's managed to snap the whole thing in half, basically.
Yes. It's very interesting, but I'm sure he will get back out on track. We do see that wing is being swapped out already. He has at least got a banker lap in, but that's certainly not how he would have been wanting to start the session. Yes, we do just see a replay. He just scrapes the wing and, breaks it. He said, I just understeered and it just didn't grip. So, unfortunately, he did break that front wing. No one has, unfortunately, called me and given an estimate of that front wing cost, it does cost about $150,000 for a front wing. So that is pretty much a family sedan that he has just broken there.
Family sedan, $150,000. You said a family sedan. That's a sports
Sorry,
car.
no, that's a supercar. That's a sports car.
How
a cheap
expensive is your
supercar there.
family sedan?
Well, an Audi RSQ8 maybe.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps. All of these things. So many monies. As MD Scoot says, 764,000 Aussie dollars. So yeah, lots and
I
lots
don't
of
know how
money.
that converts to US dollar, but maybe it's about right. We see
That's
him
about
taking a
right.
second attempt. Will he
Attempt
make it
two?
this time? Yes, he does.
Oh.
Yes, he does.
Oh dear.
1,752 of you watching along with us now. Thank you very much for tuning in our stream. I think we can officially say this is our biggest qualifying session ever. So thank you very much for tuning in. Great to have all of you watching.
I'm not quite sure it's
alongside with
as
us.
big as the Saudi Arabia one, but
Our biggest concurrent, at least for a qualifying, I think.
I still don't think so. But anyway, nice to have you all here. So let's keep it going. Let's try and beat that biggest stream that we've had for qualifying. So there's two Aston Martins getting ready to leave, and it's now restarted. Q1 has restarted, and it is Sergio Perez who leads everybody out, followed by Alex Albon in that Williams car. Can Alex Albon get out quicker? The rain seems to have subsided, so it should be a drier track, which is why Max Verstappen's making his way out, because he's not safe. I think you're probably going to see all these times get beaten, because the track does look a little bit drier than it was earlier. So, can Alex Albon get out of that bottom five?
Edgar saying in the comment section, Ferrari should use Bitdefender, Mark.
Indeed, they should.
They are sponsored by Bitdefender, if you didn't know that. They are one of Ferrari's title sponsors. We do have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. We still have a lot of people waiting in the pits. Hopefully they'll be able to get around and put in a fast lap, because they're pretty much only going to get an opportunity to do a warm-up lap and a fast lap here.
Yeah,
there
so
are only 2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
So we could see a lot of changes in this grid right before the end of the session. So it's going to be all to watch. So do not go anywhere. Stay on the stream. Let's see how this goes. We see Ferrari. I think that
Ferrari's
is
swapping drivers. I
Sainz
think
being allowed to go
Leclerc.
forward. Or was it the other way around?
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
We do see Hamilton holding up the Red Bull a little, but also possibly just giving himself a little bit of space to everyone else.
Max Verstappen very close on Lewis Hamilton's tail, just letting him know he's there as he's leaving the pits, right on his tail. I think he wants to try and get past him, Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton deliberately holding him back, I think, just trying to play a little bit of tactics here and a little bit of I suppose. Oh, Max Verstappen already locking up ever so slightly into turn one.
I think that was a little bit of spray. I think he went over a puddle there, right on the rear wing.
It's like a racing
Lewis
almost.
Hamilton. People are racing already in Quali 1. We do see, though, that the clouds overhead are quite dark, so we could get some rain.
Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton literally
making a
racing. They're
big
trying to
move.
force each other off. Oh my word.
We have Sergio Perez now starting his hot lap. He will be wanting to get a good lap in here. It is dry. He really has to take the most advantage out of this at the moment.
I don't care about Perez right now. I cannot believe Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are literally racing and qualifying as they're trying the hot lap, the out lap right now. Max Verstappen's desperately trying to get past Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton weaves into the middle of the track to say, no, you're not getting past me. It's literally racing.
Noah saying in the comments, that's a bit of a side quest for Max Verstappen. Calm down, everyone. Albon with the fastest first sector.
Yeah, quicker than
Alex
Perez.
Albon will certainly get out of Quali 1. I mean, let's
If
see
he
what he
doesn't
can do
stuff up.
throughout the rest of this lap. Don't jinx him, Mark. Just let's go, Alex.
Touch wood, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. Let's go, Alex Albon. Sargeant, meanwhile, his teammate, has also done decently in the first sector. So we're going to see some much quicker times from everybody. I think we'll see the sub 130s being reached. So all to play for right at the end here. Just 30 seconds left of the session. And we're going to see all these times tumble down. Perez is the first one out. He's slower in the second sector. So I think Perez could be in huge danger here.
Albon up on Verstappen in the second sector. Albon is up on Verstappen in the second sector. This track is really drying out quite a lot. Logan Sargeant 1.5 seconds up on Nico Hülkenberg at the moment. He's certainly going to be safe out of that bottom five. Let's see what Albon can
Perez
do now.
cross the
He's
line
coming up
before
to the end of this lap. Perez finishes his lap, puts himself first with a 129.9. Albon comes across the line, puts himself in first with a 129.4. Let's see what Logan Sargeant can do now. He is coming across the line very soon. Lando Norris up in the first and second sector.
Sargeant quicker than Perez. Sargent's quicker than I think Perez is dropping.
Bottas goes P2 now with a 129.7.
Oh my word, Perez is going to drop out. Perez is going to drop out.
Coming across the line now. Where does he go? He goes fifth.
Oh no.
Just behind Sergio Perez. Lando Norris up in the first sector. personal best in the middle sector. What can he do now in this final sector? Nick de Vries goes ahead of Max Verstappen in P6. Lance
Stroll's
Stroll.
got a purple
Lando
second
Norris
sector.
goes fastest. Lance Stroll up in the
28.9.
second sector, though. Let's see what he can do.
Ooh, these tires are tumbling.
Nico Hulkenberg also up. This is just manic at the end of this qualifying 1 session.
Oh, come on, let's go. Stroll now goes
Stroll
second
goes
fastest.
P2.
Oh, my word. And these times are just tumbling as we see Hulkenberg still coming around relatively quickly as well. Russell needs to get up as well. Currently, Russell, a driver at risk. But I think Perez, by the end of this, might be the one mainly in risk. We're seeing all these drivers come across. We're now on board with Nico Hulkenberg, who's going to cross the line. Will he get himself ahead of Sergio Perez? That's the big question.
Hulkenberg
He does
puts
go ahead
himself
of him.
into 4th.
Alonso is ahead of Perez in
Hulkenberg.
8th position. He's done. Alonso's actually almost also at risk. Tsunoda's gone slower than Perez, though. So, Russell goes
moves
second
himself up to 2nd. Verstappen 4th
Third.
now. Hamilton 3rd.
Ocon
Gosh,
goes.
this is just
Look at Perez.
crazy.
He's going to drop. Perez is going to drop. He's going to
Yellow
drop. He's
flag.
down.
Yellow
He's
flag.
out. Perez is out. Perez is out.
yellow flag in sector 2. Someone has gone off in sector 2. Yellow flag
Oh
is
my
still
word.
being waved.
We are
We don't
done.
know who that is just yet. We
done the
have
session now.
that is Valtteri Bottas off in sector 2. Alonso, though, driver at
Just-
risk at the moment,
just-
but
no,
just
just
keeping
makes
himself
it.
safe.
Oh my word. Perez is out
Perez,
again.
though.
16th.
My word, that is just dismal yet again for Sergio
Oh
Perez.
my word. I cannot believe this. I called it. We said as soon as Perez went slower and we saw that Albon was up, I said, oh, Perez is going to get eliminated.
Absolute shocker.
I cannot believe this.
Absolute
I called
shocker.
it. I absolutely called it. Ah, my word.
Aiden
Alonso
saying give the
just
seat
survives.
to Danny Ricciardo. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to hurt at this point to give it to Danny Rick. Yeah, no, this is dismal
I
for
just
Sergio
can't-
Perez.
I'm sorry
Fastest
if
car on the grid, and he's out in Q1.
I'm sorry, I can't. I keep interrupting. I'm so sorry. I just cannot believe Sergio Perez. It's unbelievable. I mean, also Alonso only just getting into the next session, but Sergio Perez once again dismal from the Red Bull driver.
I mean, an absolute shocker. Just to repeat, our bottom 5 out of qualifying 1 is Kevin Magnussen, Nick de Vries, Guan Yu Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda, and then the last driver eliminated, Sergio Perez. Just agreeing with Pure Blood there, Norris is a certified beast, just getting out there at the right time and putting in a brilliant lap.
Only 128.
P1, just ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, I mean, what was very, very good to see there was Max Verstappen went out, was not holding anything back, and yet went slower than 2 Mercs, a Mercedes, 2 Mercs, a McLaren, and a Ferrari. So,
yes,
yeah, very, very
And
interesting
Max
session.
Verstappen.
So this could be
I mean,
huge.
Yeah, this really could be quite a very interesting Quali 2 and Quali 3 still all to fight for. We have 2,130, well, I say that, 156 of you now watching alongside with us. Thank you very much for joining. Please do hit that subscribe button if you do want to chat with us in the comment section. We have subscriber only mode turned on at the moment just to slow down the chat so we can still read it. Otherwise, it does get a little bit hectic there. Just so great to have so many of you watching alongside with us. We just see how big that queue was at the end of the session. I think Hamilton got a little bit held up there. He will not be
he didn't
happy
get
about
held up.
that.
I think that's him
at all.
trying to start. That's him trying to start the
yeah,
race. So
jump
he
the
tried to
queue
get
there.
ahead of everybody. He was like worrying about it. So you see Max Verstappen also overtaking there. I really want to see replays of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton basically fighting it out. We can just see there, I think that's Pierre Gasly cutting Lewis Hamilton off, saying, no, you're not going to overtake me as well. Unbelievable.
Just to repeat for RD10 there, who asked if Perez is out. Perez is out of Quali 1. He was the first driver to finish a lap after the red flag. Unfortunately, he just called it wrong. He should have been nearer to the end of the pit lane to get a bit more grip on that track. And unfortunately, he qualifies only down in P16. Welcome to F. Hudson, who has joined the Forever Sports Members Club.
As
Thank you
well
very
as
much for
Nolene
joining us.
Portpeter. Nolene Portpeter has also just joined, so welcome to you as well. And if anybody else wants to join the Members Club, come and join. You get some special things next to your name. We will prioritize your comments over others, of course. And you will get some exclusive benefits by joining the Members Club. So be sure to go and check that out and come join. Join the family. That is Forever Sports. It's one of the most awesome YouTube channels out there. And I'm hoping that you guys are all enjoying the content with me and Reese, at least on Formula 1. Steve is also currently doing the rugby and another stream right now. And yeah, come join. Have the conversation. As some of the comments are just saying, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Just watching what happens to Valtteri Bottas. His car also just lost drive into, I think it's turn 8. Similar to what happened for Kevin Magnussen a little bit earlier, where the car pretty much just switched off. Hayden just saying Danny Rick will get the seat before Norris. Certainly, it doesn't hurt to put Danny Rick in that car. I think, especially seeing as Perez has just been performing dismally. Of course, he has brilliant races, but yeah, just not having a very good qualifying session yet again.
I just don't understand any of it. It's unbelievable how he can't. He's just got this curse, as somebody said. He's cursed. He just cannot seem to do anything right in qualifying.
Yes, I mean, I think it's been now 4 or 5 races in a row. He hasn't gotten into Q3. So, yeah, it's just really frustrating. Just waiting now for this Quali 2 session to get underway. It should start very soon. Just, I think, waiting for that car of Valtteri Bottas's to be recovered out on track, and then we should get the green light for qualifying 2.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so, yeah, we're just about to get going with qualifying 2, and I will probably, unfortunately, leave in the middle of that. I do have to get off somewhere, so Reese will take you through the rest of the session, so be sure to keep him company and keep the conversations going with Reese. Just before I leave, I will, of course, do my one mandatory call-out for our sponsor for the weekend. That is Bitdefender, and Bitdefender, just trying to get to that stupid thing. There we go. Yeah, Bitdefender, total security brings major changes to the way online threats are detected and repelled. The new cyber threat intelligence technologies included can analyze and identify suspicious network-level activities and block sophisticated exploits, malware, and botnet-related URLs and brute force attacks. To learn more about Bitdefender's offering, please click on the link in the description. And once again, thank you to Bitdefender for sponsoring this week's Watchalong on the channel, and of course they are a sponsor of Ferrari, and you can see how well Ferrari are performing at the moment in terms of their qualifying. They seem to be doing semi all right. Hopefully they're going to be doing well today, so Bitdefender is a proud sponsor of them as well as us, so if you want to be associated with Ferrari, be sure to go and get Bitdefender as well. Just watching these replays of these like racing in the outlap.
I mean, yeah, Max Verstappen certainly getting his elbows out there, fighting through turn 7 side by side there. Brilliant to see. Hopefully we get a bit of that in the race tomorrow. Some people just asking what happened to Perez. Did Perez get caught up because of the track conditions? I don't know. I think possibly because he was the first driver out after that red flag was removed. I think he just didn't get the ideal track temperatures or track conditions out there. As people went around, of course, the track rubbered up just that little bit extra and gave those final runners that little bit more of an advantage. As we do see that car now of Valtteri Bottas is being removed from the track and going down that second pit lane that we do have. I think it's the Formula 2 pit lane that he is currently going down. At least we should get Quali 2 underway very shortly.
Indeed. And guys, thank you so much for watching Forever Motorsports. Keep smashing that like button. Keep subscribing to the channel. Consider joining the members club. Reese is going to take you through the rest of this qualifying session. Q2 will start at 22:04 local time. So that's in 3 minutes time. And yeah, guys, I'm also going to still be watching the stream. I'm going to be joining you in the comments as well, just to try and see what's happening in the race. But Reese will take you through the remainder of the session. And thank you guys so much for watching. Reese, you're going to continue on. And I will see you again very, very soon, everybody. Just for now, though, Reese, take it away.
Yes, we have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go until the session gets underway. We already have Alex Albon at the end of the pit lane waiting to get out there on track. So the session will get underway at 4:40. So that is in 3 minutes. Just getting underway here. We have a lot of drivers moving out of their pit boxes now and lining up at the end of the grid. Well, at the end of the pit lane just to get out here. Still 2 minutes, though, to get underway. Hulkenberg on the radio just being told that we have rain coming. So all of these drivers are going to be wanting to get out as fast as possible. Because, yes, we have rain coming. This is going to really throw another spanner in the works here. We had a little bit of rain in Quali 1, and we saw already how much that messed things up for some of the drivers. We had Lewis Hamilton spinning it out on his first hot lap. We have a few more other drivers spinning out. We have all of them on softs at the moment. We might see this possibly coming to bite them in the bum a little bit. Someone just saying there in the comment section, I think Mercedes will take a front row in qualifying. Certainly a little bit optimistic for the Mercedes to take front row because they are still, I think, trying to get to the bottom of their new upgrades here this weekend, but hopefully we will see them being quite close to the top at the end of qualifying. Joe Pesci just saying, Ocon to Mercedes, throw Hamilton out. I don't think we'll see Lewis Hamilton moving from that team, at least for the next two, maybe 3 years. He's currently still in contract negotiations. Nothing set in stone just yet. No pen to paper on that contract. I did look a little bit earlier because someone asked me what is happening with that contract of Lewis Hamilton's. Yeah, nothing has been set in stone just yet. He's wanting a multi-year contract, but Mercedes not necessarily wanting to sign him for multiple years, as they do want to bring in some more younger people into the sport. 44 seconds left to go until we do get underway here, though. Lewis Hamilton waiting in his car. 36 seconds now to get going. Harsh Verma just saying, I think now the cars are a lot more close in terms of performance. It certainly does seem that way. We do see the sun shining a little bit, so possibly a glimpse of sun before we do get the rain. We have a few drivers out on used softs and a bunch also on a set of brand new softs. Apparently, though, according to Pureblood, Lewis Hamilton also wants $250 million for a 5-year contract. $50 million a year, that is a lot of money. That is, I think, pretty close on terms with Max Verstappen's current contract with Red Bull, as we do have the green light now for this Quali 2 session. Fernando Alonso is at the end of that pit lane, the first driver out for Quali 2. He'll be wanting to get a lap time in very quickly. This could certainly play to his hands quite well because he'll get that first lap time in while the track is still very, very dry. But we do have a team radio for Lando Norris saying no more rain. That's certainly a bit of a contradiction to the Alpines, who said we have rain coming in very soon. Please do comment in the comment section. It makes my life a little bit easier chatting to you guys, as I don't have Mark with me anymore, unfortunately. But please do let me know who you think will take the top of the timing sheets for qualifying today. Who do you think will be dropped out at the end of this qualifying 2 session as well? Certainly a big shocker at the end of qualifying 1 to have Sergio Perez out there. We do have a couple drivers now leaving the pit lane. We have Lando Norris out there. We have both of the Aston Martins, both Ferraris, both Mercedes, both Alpines. One of the Red Bulls, of course, because the second one has been dropped out, and we do now have Oscar Piastri as well. TC saying, pay me $1 million a year and I'm happy to drive the same car. I agree with you, TC. You can pay me $1 a year and I will happily drive these cars around circuit. I don't care about the risks. I'm very happy to drive around in one of these cars if I do get the opportunity. Kylene just saying, Ferrari told Sainz to let Leclerc through, and Carlos Sainz said that was unfair, what you asked me to do, sacrificing the track position. Certainly that is a bit interesting to have them giving team orders and qualifying. Max Verstappen on the radio just saying a few drops that are going to be falling on the track, but hopefully not going to last for too long. Larry just asking Joe who they would replace Lewis Hamilton with. I mean, who would you replace a 7-time world championship with? He's been so crucial in that team, winning all of those championships, getting a championship winning car, of course, as well. He was in the car for a few years before they started dominating again. It shows just how strong Lewis Hamilton is as a driver. Fernando Alonso taking the fastest first sector at the moment. Of course, he is the first driver to be setting a hot lap here in Quali 2. 2,300 of you joining alongside with us, though, for this Quali 2 session. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. 28,600 of you are subscribed to the channel. We are really hoping to get to 30,000 subscribers before the end of this race weekend. So please do smash that subscribe button, and then you can talk to us in the comment section. Catlejo just saying Lewis is an 8-time world champion for a reason. He's not an 8-time world champion. I have to correct you there. He is a 7-time world champion. You have to remember Max Verstappen took his first world championship in 2021 against Lewis Hamilton. We do have Fernando Alonso's first sector time has been taken away from him. He is up, though, in the middle sector. We don't know who has taken that away from him just yet, but we'll have to wait and see. Larry Giles just saying, I say you stay with Hamilton until the wheels fall off. He deserves it. I agree with that. He certainly does deserve that seat in the Mercedes team at the moment. He has been so crucial to them winning those championships. Fernando Alonso does take that fastest lap time, with Lance Stroll now going second. Lando Norris up in the middle sector. Let's see what he is able to do. We also have Carlos Sainz on a very fast lap at the moment. Alex Albon puts himself into P3. Logan Sargeant also in P4. Leclerc puts himself in P1. Lando Norris takes the fastest lap time, half a second up on Charles Leclerc. Brilliant lap time for Lando Norris. That McLaren certainly finding a lot of time out on track at the moment. Carlos Sainz puts himself now up into P2 with a 1:30.1 seconds down on Lando Norris's time. George Russell now puts himself up into P4. That is taken away, well, P3 and now P4 as Ocon moves himself up into P3. Verstappen finishing up a lap time here, not going very fast, puts himself up into P2 only, little bit down on Lando Norris's time at the moment. Gasly up in the middle sector. Let's see what he can do as he is coming to finish up this lap. Apparently, according to Pureblood, Alonso was on a set of scrubbed soft tyres, so that gives us an indicator as to why he is not as fast as some of the other drivers out there. Lando Norris, though, having a brilliant first lap time out there. Some people giving their opinions as to who would replace Lewis. Adita saying that she would replace, or he would replace Lewis with Nico Rosberg to revive his career. I don't think Nico Rosberg has any hopes of ever coming back into Formula One. He is firmly retired, and I think he should stay that way. Yes, but now we do have a couple drivers just on a bit of a warm-up lap or some warm-down laps, but we do have Lewis Hamilton currently on a push lap. Just waiting to see some sector times from Lewis Hamilton, as he does seem to have backed off of this lap time now. Just waiting for a few drivers to finish these warm down laps and possibly to go on another push lap. Certainly very impressed by Lando Norris's lap time at the moment. Let me know in the comment section what you think of that lap time from Lando Norris. He certainly found a lot of pace here this race weekend, and a lot of pace through the last few weekends. Very, very impressed by his pace out there. Oscar Piastri down in P4. It looks like George Russell has been called in to the weighbridge, so he is already trying to rush those FIA stewards to get that car out of there, because it does take a few minutes. There are 9 minutes left of this Quali 2 session. We did have, though, in Quali 1, Sergio Perez eliminated, Yuki Tsunoda eliminated, Joe De Vries, as well as Kevin Magnussen and Bottas eliminated, unfortunately, due to the fact that his car stopped working on his warm down lap, so he will not be putting in any lap times. 2,600 of you now watching alongside me. Thank you very much for joining. Please do keep the comments coming. Joe Pesci saying Mazepin replaced Lewis. Are you delusional? I don't think so. Fernando Alonso now up in the middle sector. I think Mazepin should just keep to DJing as he is doing at the moment. We don't want him back in our sport. He is an absolute danger to the sport. Alonso now coming to finish up this lap time. Where does he put himself? He now crosses the line and puts himself up into P1 with a 1:29.0. Very close now to breaking that 1:29 mark. We have Charles Leclerc also on a hot lap at the moment. Fastest first sector. Personal best in the middle sector. Let's see what he is able to do in that final sector. We have Alex Albon now crossing the line. Logan Sargeant crossing the line. He puts himself up into P9. Alex Albon also finishing up a lap time. Leclerc puts himself into P2. Brilliant lap time for Charles Leclerc. Albon puts himself up into P2 now. Brilliant pace from that Williams car. That Williams certainly have a brilliant turnaround in the past few races. They found so much pace with those upgrades that they have introduced to their cars. 2,700 of you now watching alongside with us. We have Sainz now finishing up a lap. Personal best in the middle sector. Not very fast though in that first sector. Let me know your predictions, though, in the comment section. Who you think will be eliminated from this session? Sainz now finishes his lap time, puts himself P4 just behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. 0.3 seconds off of Fernando Alonso's fastest lap time. We have George Russell once again leaving the pit to start another warm-up lap so that he can get in another hot lap. We have a new poll that has been introduced here. Who will top qualifying? Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, or another driver? Please do let me know your predictions there in the poll. Currently, we have 51% going to Max Verstappen, Perez with 4%, Leclerc with 21%, and other with 24%. I assume that the other is for Alex Albon or possibly for Fernando Alonso. Race control noting car 18 Lance Stroll's time with a 1:29.7 has been deleted for track limits. we could have a repeat of what we had last weekend in Austria, with lots of drivers having their lap times deleted for track limits. We don't want to see this happening again. We want to see drivers just keeping it within those white lines. Those white lines do give you the limits of the track. Once you go over those lines, you get your lap time deleted. Being asked by Sisonke why Mazepin was a danger to the sport, he was just such a dirty driver. He tried to push Mick Schumacher into the pit wall once. I think it was in Imola or possibly Mugello. I don't want to see him back in the sport. He is not a very safe driver out there, and he does not deserve to get back into the sport. I do see Mark is in the comment section with Mark's box saying Alonso is where he belongs at the moment. Yes, he is currently in P1 with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left of this qualifying 2 session. Please do keep the likes coming and the comments. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. We are very, very close to getting to 30,000 subscribers. A lot of members currently joining the channel. Narisa joining, as well as Armand. Noah Becker just saying, sorry, it's Max, Alonso, and Lando currently pure pace going to be at the top of the timing boards. Harsh saying Hamilton and Max are currently cooking. Hamilton is certainly cooking at the moment with the fastest first sector at the moment. Max Verstappen takes that P1 spot with a 28 point. Oh, Piastri takes that time away from Max Verstappen by 0.003. Oscar Piastri finding some great time out on track at the moment. Max Verstappen certainly could have some competition for that P1 spot right now. Hamilton has lost that fastest first sector time to his teammate George Russell, finding some track time out there at the moment. Larry Giles disagreeing with me. He was the worst driver, like the absolute worst. I completely agree with you on that. Let's see what these two Mercedes drivers can do. Lando Norris, even faster in the first sector, 0.3 up on the fastest first sector time set by his teammates at the moment. These McLarens just looking extremely, extremely rapid out there. Lewis Hamilton takes the fastest lap time at the moment with a 1:28.5. The crowd going absolutely wild at the moment here in Silverstone. KP Mag also joining the Forever Sports Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. Please don't forget you can join that membership club, and you will get great benefits in our YouTube channel, as well as if you do want your chat to be noticed by me on stream, please do drop a super chat, because it does make my life a little bit easier to spot that chat there. Lando Norris now finishing up his lap, coming through turn 18, getting very, very close to that final sector. It looks like we don't have any more rain coming, and we do have the sun shining over this track. Lando Norris coming through the last 2 corners now, turn 19 and across the line. Where does he put himself? He puts himself comfortably in P1, half a second up on Lewis Hamilton's lap time. That is brilliant from the McLaren of Lando Norris. Scotty Chenoweth just saying Ricciardo needs to take first seat in AlphaTauri after the summer break. We do have a big indicator that Nick de Vries could be getting replaced by the end of this. Well, I was going to say the end of the season. There's rumors going around that he could be replaced before Zandvoort, which would be his home race. Certainly a bit of a knife in the back for him. But he hasn't been performing this season, so certainly could be just that he gets replaced before Zandvoort. Ultraviolet asking, is it Q2? Yes, it is. Currently, we are in the qualifying 2 session. We have just hit 3,000 viewers for this qualifying 2 session. Thank you very much for all of you watching alongside with us. Please do hit that like button. We're 1 like away from 300, and also not very far off of 30,000 subscribers on our little Forever Sports channel. Thank you very much for joining us. We also do have a Forever Sports channel if you do just want to see motorsports based content. Charles Leclerc now starting a hot lap. Let's keep a close eye on these Ferraris and see what their true pace are out on track. Waiting to see what Charles Leclerc can do in this first sector, coming through turn 4 now. Looking quite poised and quite confident out on track at the moment. Coming up towards that first sector marker now. Let's see what he is able to do. 25, 26, 27. Where does this put him? 0.1 seconds down on Norris's first sector time at the moment. Just asking where Mark went. Unfortunately, he had some prior commitments that he had to get to. So I am going to take you through the end of qualifying here. Looking like it's going to be a very, very exciting qualifying session, as it looks like we have a bunch of drivers fighting it out for that top spot here. A few drivers, though, getting their lap times deleted. We had, I think it was Fernando Alonso's teammate, Lance Stroll, getting his lap time deleted here. Alex Albon on a hot lap at the moment. Charles Leclerc up in the middle sector, 0.077 down on Lando Norris's lap time at the moment. He is normally quite fast in these final 2 sectors, so hopefully he will be able to take that time away from Lando Norris. Let's see what he's able to do as he makes his way through the last 2 corners. Lando Norris, his lap time could be deleted. There's Alex Albon is once again up in the middle sector. He is 0.001 up on Lando Norris's fastest time. Leclerc in P2 now. We will have to wait and see what Albon can do. We have, I think this is Carlos Sainz coming through. Sainz goes P2. Just waiting for Alex Albon, who's finally coming through that final corner. Where will he put himself? P2 with a 1:28.06 seconds. 0.002 off of Lando Norris's time at the moment. Logan Sargeant moves himself up into P9, moves Fernando Alonso down into the bottom 10 with 30 seconds left to go of this qualifying session. Leclerc on the radio, just being told that Ocon is pushing behind. Verstappen on a flyer of a lap at the moment. First and second purple sectors at the moment. Let's see what he's able to do at the end of this lap. Should he be able to keep it very clean out there? A few drivers finishing up some lap times at the moment. We have a bunch of drivers setting some green sectors for themselves. Max Verstappen with a little snap of understeer there, having to make a correction, but he does go fastest with a 1:27.7. Fastest lap time of the weekend so far. 0.3 seconds up on Norris. Piastri crosses the line. He beats his teammate for P2. Brilliant lap times from these McLarens out there. Alex Albon down on P4. But we do have Stroll on a hot lap as well as Nico Hülkenberg. Let's see what Stroll can do at the end of this lap, should he not have his lap time deleted again. Some people just saying Max's normal day dominating out there. Yes, once again, Lance Stroll moves himself up into P10. Will that be enough, though, for Lance Stroll? We have Nico Hülkenberg crosses the line. He pushes Lance Stroll down into that bottom 5. Nico Hülkenberg only puts himself into P10. We have Gasly, though, Hamilton, and Russell still setting some fast laps out there. Let's see what Gasly can do. He's currently down on P14. Will he be able to get himself out of that relegation zone? He does. He puts himself up into P9. That moves Hülkenberg down into the bottom 5. Russell is currently at risk. He is also on a hot lap, though, so he might just be able to push himself out. Hamilton aborts his hot lap. Will Russell also abort his hot lap at the moment? A hat-trick, though, for Alex Albon, getting himself into Q3. 3 races in a row. Brilliant from that Williams of Alex Albon. The Mercedes drivers just being able to get themselves out at the last second. Russell is safe. So that is our finishing order for the end of Q2. Our drivers at the end of Q2. First is Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris, P2 and P3. Certainly a bit of a shocker to see those drivers so far up ahead of the Ferraris. Our bottom 5, though, is I'm looking too far down. Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Nico Hülkenberg, Logan Sargeant, and Valtteri Bottas, who didn't get any running done in this session. We currently have 3,200 of you watching alongside with us. Lance Stroll looks like he got caught out by a little bit of traffic there in the middle sector, possibly because of Esteban Ocon locking up on the brakes there a little bit. Idea Gaming saying McLaren legit has a chance for pole if Max messes up like Perez. I mean, it's highly unlikely that Max will mess up too badly, but should he just have a small lockup, a little hand of understeer or oversteer, this could certainly play into McLaren's hands, who have a lot of pace out here this weekend with this massive upgrade package that they have brought last weekend in Austria, and Piastri getting given those upgrades as well this weekend.
2.
Andrew Crozier saying Max does not mess up. He is a machine. Yes, I completely agree, but we do see every now and then he does get a little bit of a hand of understeer or oversteer. It's what happens as a racing driver. You can't necessarily control it. People asking also, what's happening with Checo? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong with him other than the fact that he wasn't able to pull in a fast enough lap time in Quali 1, so he has been dropped out. So just to go over our dropped out drivers from Qualifying 1 and Qualifying 2. From the back of the grid, in P20, Kevin Magnussen, who unfortunately had a engine failure or just a electronics failure. His car completely switched off in qualifying 1, so he is down in P20. Nick de Vries, unsurprisingly, P19. Zhou Guanyu, 18. Tsunoda, 17. Perez in 16. Absolutely dismal yet again for Sergio Perez. Then we have Bottas in 15th, Sargeant 14th, Ocon 13th, Stroll 12th, 11th, Nico Hulkenberg, and Russell in P10. Russell just able to stay into Q3. Still a little bit of time to get going until we get qualifying 3 underway. Not too long left here, but it should be quite an exciting qualifying session ahead of us. Just waiting now to get underway. We do see Max Verstappen in the car still. New tyres have been put on that car. We should see that driver getting out on track very soon. We normally see Max Verstappen getting out on track very, very quickly because he doesn't like to get held up by any other drivers. Q3 will start at 4:03, so in about 4 minutes time. Not very long to get going now. Thank you very much, though, for everyone who has come and watched alongside with us. Still 2,800 of you watching alongside with me. 28,600 subscribers, though, on our channel. Please do hit that subscribe button so we can get to 30,000 subscribers before the end of this race weekend. It should be a very exciting race tomorrow because, I mean, we could have a very mixed up grid. I mean, I certainly didn't expect to have the McLarens having so much pace out here today. Let me know what you think about the McLaren's pace out here, because it certainly shocked me. Alex Albon as well, absolutely flying out on track at the moment. He is currently in P4. Just watching a replay of Logan Sargeant's lap time. Did he have a little bit of a mistake here? It looks like he was possibly on a slowdown lap when there was possibly an issue for him, as he was going quite slowly. Just hearing team radios for track limits. That's possibly why Logan Sargeant's time was deleted and he was unfortunately added to that relegation zone and has been dropped from qualifying 3. So disappointing from him because he has shown some great pace this weekend as well in that sister Williams car. Great to see the Williams, though, having so much pace because it has been a long time since we've seen a very competitive Williams car. 2 minutes, though, left to get going until we get going for qualifying 3. Pure Blood just saying, Albon is legit. I completely agree with you. Albon having a shocker. A brilliant few races out here. And it's so good to see from him because I support him wholeheartedly. He's had such a difficult Formula 1 career, but great that he got that second chance in this Williams seat, and he's certainly showing that he does deserve to be in Formula 1. 1 minute and 38 seconds left to go until qualifying 3 gets underway. If qualifying 2 was any indicator, it should be a massively exciting qualifying 3 session because we just had such a shake-up at the end of qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. Just waiting now, 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go until we get going. Just going over a couple of the upgrades, though, that we did have for this race weekend. A lot of upgrades being brought here for this race weekend. We had Aston Martin bringing 2 upgrades with a new front wing and a new rear corner. Sorry, let me just have a drink. My throat's getting a little bit dry. Alpine only brought 1 upgrade for this race weekend with a new front wing. Alfa Romeo brought a new floor body, new floor fences, new diffuser, rear corner and rear suspension. Haas brought 3, a new front suspension, front corner and beam wing. Williams brought a few as well, a new front wing and new rear wing, which is mostly circuit specific. We then had the AlphaTauris with the majority of the upgrades for their team. They had 8 here this weekend with a new floor body, new floor edge, new diffuser, engine cover, rear suspension, rear wing and new beam wing. And then Ferrari did not bring any new upgrades at all. So that certainly shows why we have had a bit of a shake-up from some of those teams. The Alpha, what are they called now? The AlphaTauri is not having a great weekend, but I think that is purely down to the fact that they have had a big upgrade package brought and they're still trying to get to grips with it. DRS has now been enabled, as I see Andrew Crozier just commenting there. Great to see that we do have the DRS once again enabled because that means we can see these lap times falling even further. Interestingly, though, Max Verstappen was able to get into the 127s without DRS. That just shows how fast that Red Bull car is out on track. Chris Ace just saying Albon is taking his revenge after Hamilton destroyed it. I mean, Albon, he did have a few races ruined while he was in that Red Bull seat by Lewis Hamilton in 2021, I think it was. As we do now have the green flag being shown, 12 minutes are how long we have for this qualifying 3 session, and we have straight away Alex Albon getting out on track, as well as George Russell. George Russell opening up that DRS wing now, just checking that it still works. Lewis Hamilton right behind him. Adita saying in the comment section, okay, now guys, everyone predict P1, P2, and P3. For Adita, they are going to say P1 Alonso, P2 Verstappen, and P3 Leclerc. Interesting prediction there for qualifying. Please do let me know what your predictions are. I will read them out on stream as best as I can. I will try to read out as many as I can here. My predictions, though, that I gave, I think, earlier today as well as yesterday, I'm going to say Verstappen P1. I'm going to change it up a little bit because these McLarens are certainly looking very, very competitive out there. I'm going to say Verstappen P1, Lando Norris P2, and just to throw a bit of a span into the works, Albon P3. It's certainly a front row that we haven't seen before, and it will be great to see it. I mean, Pure Blood giving me his predictions: P1 Alonso, P2 Leclerc, and 3rd Max. Attacking saying Verstappen, Norris, and Alonso for their predictions. Will be great to see. Paige saying no DRS. You're wrong, Paige. The DRS has been enabled now because the track is completely dry. We have seen the DRS opening. Just watching on with Lewis Hamilton's father in the pit lane at the moment, looking very happy to be watching his son racing out here in Silverstone. We do see the viewers once again increasing, 2,800 of you watching alongside with us yet again. Thank you for tuning into our stream. Great to see so many of you watching alongside with us. We do still have 9 minutes and 30 seconds left of this qualifying 3 session, the final qualifying session ahead of the race tomorrow afternoon. For all of those of you watching alongside with me right now, please do be sure to join us for the massive race that is ahead of us tomorrow. Should be very, very exciting. Possibility of rain in the session tomorrow could throw a massive span into the works. Larry Giles giving his predictions at the moment. Max, Alonso, and Hamilton, I think, is his prediction at the moment. The Good Place saying P1 Leclerc, Norris in P2, and Piastri P3. Would be great to see, as he says there. We'll have to wait and see. We have 8 minutes and 50 seconds to finalize our starting grid for tomorrow afternoon. Verstappen takes the fastest time so far, or sorry, he is the first driver to start his hot lap. Lewis Hamilton currently fastest in the first sector. Albon also personal best. Hamilton's first fastest sector has been taken away by Max Verstappen at the moment. Leclerc fastest in the middle sector though as well. Lovely weather now will not bode well for Merck. Andrew Crozier says, I mean, it certainly seems to be playing into their hands at the moment as Lewis Hamilton has that fastest middle sector. As I say that though, Alex Albon takes that away from him. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant performance from Alex Albon this weekend. Max Verstappen, though, coming into that middle sector now. Will he be able to take away that middle sector time? 3,000 of you once again tuning into our stream. George Russell takes provisional pole at the moment with a 128.1. Lewis Hamilton beats that with a 127.717. Let's see. Next driver across the line is Alex Albon with a 127.9. Second fastest at the moment. Norris moves himself up into P4. Max Verstappen absolutely flying out there at the moment. Alonso comes across the line. He puts himself up into P2 with the 127.8. Max Verstappen coming through that final sector. Now, let's see where he puts himself. Max Verstappen puts himself comfortably in first place with the 127.064. New tyres on the Red Bull, so that's showing the true pace of that car at the moment. Apparently the rest of the grid on scrub sets at the moment. Leclerc and Sainz both over the line as well. 4th and 5th as Piastri moves himself up into P3. The first of those, I think the McLaren's on a set of new tyres there. George Russell though, notably all the way down in P9. Interesting top 10 that we have here. We have Verstappen, Hamilton, Piastri, Leclerc, Sainz, Alonso, Albon, Gasly, Russell, and Norris for our top 10 right now. Still a lot to play for. This track is still evolving out here. We've had a bit of rain to wash away a bit of the rubber. We could see still see a lot of shakeups before the end of this qualifying session. So still stay tuned with us. This is still all to play for. Mohammed just giving his predictions. P1 Max, P2 Norris, and P3 Alonso. Could be a very interesting lineup there to have them on the front of the grid for tomorrow. Andrew Gray just asking, what are the current conditions? It is bone dry out on track. We had a little bit of rain in P1, well, not P1. We had a bit of rain in qualifying 1 and qualifying 2, but now we have completely dry running. It doesn't look like we're going to get any rain out at the moment. We have a lot of drivers in the pits now. We have Hamilton in the pits, Albon in the pits, Russell and Norris as well hitting the pits at the moment. Oscar Piastri was on the radio just saying, check the floor. I hit the curb a little bit in turn 13. Just watching a replay of that. He did go quite wide there, so they will be checking the floor there in their data. 3,200 of you watching alongside with us. Please do hit that like button. We are just short of 400 likes. That would be, I think, close to one of our most liked videos here for Formula One. So Lando Norris now dives into the pits. So a lot of drivers moving into the pits now, just running out of sync now, waiting for these drivers to put on a new set of tires and get back out onto track. 5 minutes and 25 seconds left to go of this qualifying 3 session. Adisa saying, Max Verstappen here and Crashstappen, Capstappen, Coststappen, or Coststappen, Max again, just says, it's fine. I'll just nominate Formula One for you then. Yeah, I mean, completely performing at the prime of his career right now. Certainly have to wonder whether he will be able to keep up this performance for multiple years to come, or whether he's just going to get a bit tired of dominating and maybe move on to another form of motorsport. It would be great to see him in other forms of motorsport, possibly in World Endurance Championships. Would be great to see. Mohammed just saying, lol, that's true. The more they trash Max, the better he gets. Yeah, certainly seems to be the way that it's going at the moment. We have 4 minutes and 30 seconds left of this qualifying session. Currently, our top 3, Verstappen, Hamilton, and Piastri. Certainly a very, very mixed up top 3 at the moment. The 2 Ferraris performing all right at the moment, currently in P4 and P5. Kraz just saying, hear me out, Norris for P1. I'm listening to you, Kraz. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Shubham just asking where Mark is. He is off at the moment. He was here for Q1, but had to leave for qualifying 2. So I will be taking you through the rest of the session. Still great to have so many of you watching alongside with me at the moment. Certainly one of our biggest qualifying streams. Kylie just saying, seriously not happy how Ferrari want Leclerc to get ahead then Carlos. It's certainly quite interesting. I mean, I wonder if they just trying to prove a point to Carlos Sainz that he is the number 2 driver in that team. I don't understand why they're doing it. I mean, it's qualifying. Just leave them be. Let them do their runs. Don't interrupt or interfere with them. Yeah, it's certainly going to be playing with Carlos Sainz's mind, of course, as they do let, once again, Charles Leclerc out ahead of Carlos Sainz as they are all leaving the pits now. We have Russell leaving the pits. We have Hamilton leaving the pits. Well, I think everyone now leaving the pits to get their final laps out. So we have now 3 minutes left of the session. Everyone has one more chance to get a flying lap done. Otherwise, that's their qualifying done, and this will be their starting position. Brad just commenting, even though I'm not a huge fan of Red Bull, I don't understand why people hate on Max. He seems to be a very talented driver and is able to do an amazing job in a competitive car. I mean, certainly he is in a competitive car, but so is Perez, and Perez only qualified down on P16. Don't care for Ferrari anymore, says Andy. Too much drama. I'm becoming a McLaren fan, and Max and Albon. Certainly, I am giving a lot of support for Alex Albon at the moment this race weekend, and just in general, he is having an absolute cracker of a season. Attican just saying, hear me out, Max P1, Lewis P2, Norris P3. That could certainly be our qualifying results at the end of the session. We have 2 minutes left to see who is going to take the top spot of this qualifying session. Please do hit the like button. I see we have crossed that 400 mark now. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our sponsors in our description. We do have Bitdefender, who have come on as our channel sponsor and Formula 1 sponsor. Thank you very much to Bitdefender for joining us. If you do want to just secure your system a little bit more, please do go and check out Bitdefender, our channel sponsor. Pure Blood just saying, Max may be a great driver, but as a person, he is a bit selfish. I do agree. At times you are selfish, but the greatest Formula 1 drivers certainly are absolute selfish bastards. We've seen the likes of Michael Schumacher. If you're not selfish, you can't be a Formula 1 driver. I think you have to be able to just tune out your entire team sometimes and just go, no, I'm going to do it this way. That is how I want it to be. And that's how you win championships. We do see now Leclerc on his hot lap coming across now towards that first sector marker. Let's see what he can do. Is he up? Yes, he is. He is 0.1 seconds up on that fastest first sector at the moment. Carlos Sainz closely behind him. Let's see what he can do in that first sector as well. He should come across that line very, very soon now. Let's see what he can do. He is currently 0.053 up on Max Verstappen's time, not up on his teammate's time though. George Russell also on hot lap at the moment. Everyone would have been starting their hot laps now, just waiting to see though who can beat that lap time of Max Verstappen's. Leclerc looking super, super composed through Magnus and Beckett's absolutely flat through there. 0.001 up on Max Verstappen's time at the moment through the second sector. Will he be able to compete with Max Verstappen through this final sector? We will have to wait and see. We have about 20 seconds left before he does cross that line, and this session will be ended. 13 seconds left of the session, but people will be able to finish their lap times now. A few more people are just letting us know their opinions in the comment section. I will get to that once the session is over. Leclerc moves himself up into P2 with a 1:27.1. Possible front row for the Ferrari. We do have Sainz now coming to finish his lap time. What can he do? Will he be able to challenge his teammate? He crosses the line. Where does he put himself? P3. We have currently Max Verstappen, Leclerc and Sainz, the top three for the session. Just seeing what the rest of the grid can do. Fernando Alonso now coming up across the line. He puts himself only into P5. Hamilton now coming across the line. Where does he put himself? He only moves himself up into P5. Norris coming to finish a lap now. Norris goes pole. Lando Norris, provisional pole. What the 1:26.9. Absolutely brilliant. Max Verstappen not putting in a good lap time at the moment. Could this be Norris on pole? Max Verstappen comes across the line. He takes that lap time away from Lando Norris. But brilliant from Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri moves himself up into P3. We have two McLarens on the front row. This is unseen for a very, very long time. Great to see from those McLarens. Alex Albon finishes his qualifying and moves himself up into P8. Absolutely outstanding for McLaren. 60 years of motorsport for McLaren, and they have taken a double front row. Lando Norris in P2 and Oscar Piastri P3. Absolutely brilliant for McLaren here today. So chuffed for the UK-based team. With their home race here, they are going to be absolutely over the moon. I don't know if any of you expected that here today, but certainly not what I was expecting. Max Verstappen just being told calmly on the radio by his engineer, well done, another pole. I mean, that looked quite close at the middle, at the end there, because Max Verstappen was not setting a very good lap time there, but just in that final sector, taking the fastest lap time. Zach Brown, apoplectic in that McLaren pit lane, just high-fiving every single team member in that garage. He is so happy there for his team. Absolutely brilliant from McLaren out here. They seem to have had a cracker season so far, making a massive turnaround from the beginning of the season where their car was absolutely nowhere. Lando Norris sounding so ecstatic on the radio, being told that he has P2 here. Just saying, yeah, baby, to getting told that he has P2. Absolutely stellar job as we see them now lining up P2 and P3 there. I mean, third ever front row start for Lando Norris. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to do during the race tomorrow, but if their long run times are any indicator, it's going to be very competitive. I mean, this is going to be a great race tomorrow. Please do make sure to tune into that race tomorrow afternoon. The race is at, let me just check the time, 4 o'clock South African time, 3 o'clock track time. So please do make sure to tune into that stream here for us. Asking, will Hamilton win the race? I don't think so. Little up, please stop spamming the chat. It's really annoying. But yes, great to see, though, the McLarens having an absolutely stellar qualifying session here today. Please do let me know in the comment section what you think. Just absolutely great to see from the McLarens. I mean, I'm so chuffed to see. Little Ops, please stop spamming the chat. It's really annoying. Yeah, please do let us know what you think of this qualifying session. Just to go over our grid, though, our starting grid for tomorrow afternoon. Max Verstappen takes pole ahead of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri finishing P2 and P3. Thank you very much, Pure Blood, saying great job. I do appreciate that. Then we have the two Ferraris, P4 and P5. Russell and Hamilton, then P6 and 7. Albon, P8. Alonso, P9. Not having the greatest qualifying session here today. Gasly, P10, the first of those Alpine drivers. Then we have Hulkenberg, P11, Stroll, P12, Ocon, 13, Sargeant, 14, Bottas, 15. Unfortunately, he was not able to compete in qualifying 2 because he had an engine failure or something. Logan, Sargeant, then, sorry, I've already mentioned him, Perez, then P16, having another dismal race weekend. You have to wonder whether Red Bull will be looking to replace him mid-season or whether they will run him to the end of his contract. Then we have Yuki Tsunoda in 17, Zhou in 18th, De Vries 19th yet again, and Magnussen in P20. Adita just saying, Reese, awesome job today for making us entertained. Good job, keep it up. Thank you very much. All of your comments do mean a great deal to us. Thank you very much for joining us in the stream. I do see the numbers are dropping off, but thank you so much for joining us. It has been a very exciting stream. Yeah, please do stay tuned though. Just going to be watching what happens for the next few minutes, and then I will be wrapping up very shortly. Just waiting to see. I mean, brilliant job from Oscar Piastri, a rookie, taking a second row start here. I mean, will he be able to have a good start though tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be very exciting though for tomorrow. Certainly all to play for here in Silverstone. Also, don't know what's going to be happening for the weather tomorrow, so we could get a bit of a change up with rain possibly. Maybe we will get a dry race, but we don't know what is going to happen. Just looking at our poll that we did run through the session, who will top quali? 53% saying Max Verstappen, 4% saying Sergio Perez. No confidence in Sergio Perez anymore during qualifying. Leclerc 18% and other 25%. A lot of people just letting me know about what they think will happen with the McLaren tomorrow. A few people just saying they think Norris might choke during the start. He has had a few bad race starts. Hopefully he'll be able to nail it though tomorrow. Piastri though, so wow, just very impressed by the rookie. We'll have to wait and see though what he can do during the race tomorrow. Max Verstappen though, just saying that it was a bit of a manic qualifying session. I completely agree with that, but I mean, wow, just absolutely brilliant here today. Jason Bear just saying, as long as Max can't win the constructors by himself, does Red Bull Racing really need to dump Perez? His struggles aren't really making much of a difference. I mean, they're not making much of a difference, but if Max Verstappen wasn't dominating the way that he is, I mean, yeah, Red Bull would be needing to have a look at having another more competitive driver out there. Just looking at Oscar Piastri now, looking absolutely ecstatic, chatting to the media about his P3 qualifying position here at the end of this race. Absolutely brilliant here. Just yeah, wrapping up here now. Thank you very much for joining us for this qualifying session. Just absolutely still so shocked about these two McLarens finishing 2 and 3 for the race tomorrow. Big thank you yet again to our title. Sorry, just getting a little bit tired here. Thanks again to our title sponsor for this race weekend, Bitdefender. Please do go out and check in the description our Bitdefender link there. Please do go and click that. It means a lot to us. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Please do be sure to join us tomorrow for the race. I have been Reese Stedman here on Forever Sports for Forever Motorsports, and it has been a very, very exciting qualifying 3 session, and we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow in the race. Thank you very much for joining us, though. Please do hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you want to get notifications when we do go live for other sessions. Thank you very much. I've been Reese. Cheers.